Module 5, you learned all about creating the perfect product page to make sure your product listing is ready to go once your product has arrived. Now in this module, we're going to walk you through one of the most exciting parts of this entire business, preparing for and executing the perfect product launch. We'll show you how to prepare your first shipment of products to Amazon to make sure you don't have any issues. How and why it's important to get amazing product images now that you can physically hold your product. How to get your initial product reviews for immediate social proof. And finally, how to execute one of the most powerful strategies that we have personally developed and used, the perfect product launch. So head into the first lesson and let's get started on your very own perfect product launch. Welcome to the next lesson, preparing your first FBA shipment. And here's what we're going to cover in this lesson. We're going to learn what an FBA shipment is, how the FBA shipping process works, the difference between product, shipping, and FN SKU labels, and then what you need to do to create your first FBA shipment. In order to get your products shipped into Amazon, you need to create something inside of Seller Central called an FBA shipment. This tells Amazon exactly what you're sending into them, and it allows Amazon to tell you where to send your products to. That way, Amazon knows exactly what to expect, and they also know when those products will be there. It's important to remember that this process is separate from importing and must take place after your products have already been cleared through customs. Here's how the FBA shipping process works. You gather all the necessary information, and we'll show you what that is later in this lesson. You enter that information inside of Seller Central using the send/replenish inventory option, and then Amazon provides you with the necessary shipping labels to print out and attach to your inventory. In the US, the companies that we use the most often are UPS and FedEx, and in Europe, UPS is the most common option there. Now, there are ways to print out labels for other shipping companies, but these two are the best in my opinion because not only can you print them out from inside of Seller Central, you can also pay for them right inside of Seller Central. It comes out of your Seller Central payment account, and the rates you'll get are incredibly cheap. So we highly recommend using their services. And finally, the products are then picked up and delivered to Amazon. This could be from your home if you had your products imported and sent to you first, from your freight forwarder or from your inspection and forwarding service, or if your products are being manufactured domestically, it can happen straight from your manufacturer then, where they will label them and ship them off to Amazon for you. Speaking of labeling, let's talk a little bit more about labels. In this business of being a private label manufacturer, it can be a bit confusing because there are so many times we mention the word labels and they might mean different things. Heck, it's even in the name of a business, a private label has it in there. So let's go over the different types of labels that we'll be talking about through this process. The first are product labels. And if your product comes in a bottle or a bag, chances are that you will have a label on that contains various information such as the product name, instructions, your UPC barcode, and anything else on there that you might want to have on the product. Think of a bottle of aspirin or vitamins. Those all would be products that would have a product label. Now there's also shipping labels, and we'll be talking about those a lot in this lesson. When your products are being shipped to Amazon, the cartons that they come in will need to have a shipping label printed out and attached to them. These identify to Amazon what products are inside and are created inside of Seller Central when setting up an FBA shipment. The other type of label that we'll talk about during this process are FN SKU labels. These are barcode stickers that are completely unique to Amazon. They're placed on each product, and they must cover up any existing barcodes that might already be on the product. They're generated during the FBA shipment creation process, but they can also be created at any time at all from the Manage Inventory screen. These can be put on by your supplier, your inspection or forwarding service, or even by yourself prior to shipping the products to Amazon. Some sellers actually decide to include them directly on their packaging when they're having their packaging designed, but we don't recommend doing that when you're starting out, and I'll cover that in a few points below. The easiest option is to simply have Amazon's labeling service put these on for you. It only costs 20 cents each, and we'll show you how to do that later in this video. So you may be thinking, why in the world do we tell you to have a UPC designed on your product packaging and put on it if we're only going to cover it up with this Amazon FN SKU label? That's a good question. But the reason is because the FN SKU, as I mentioned above, is specific to Amazon and Amazon alone. And should you ever decide to sell elsewhere in a different Amazon markets like Europe or Canada or Mexico, Or you want to sell your product in a store like Walmart or Target, you will need to have the UPC on your product, or if it's a different Amazon market, have a different FN SKU put onto the product. That's why we don't recommend having the FN SKU designed into your product when starting off. Now, before you can actually create your first FBA shipment, here's the information that you'll need to have. The name of the product that you're shipping, and hopefully your listing has been created by now. The total number of units that you're sending in. The packaging dimensions for each individual product. So if your product comes in one box that you ship it in, you'll need the actual length, width, height, and weight of that one unit prior to creating an FBA shipment. And if you don't have that in your listing right now, that's okay. When you're setting up your first shipment, it'll recognize that and it'll ask you to enter it then. You'll also know the number of units that come inside one box or carton. So we're talking about the shipping cartons. So you may have 5, 10, or 20 products all shipped inside one carton. You'll need to know the weight of each of those boxes / cartons, and then the address that they're being shipped from. And again, this can be your home, it can be your domestic manufacturer if that's where they're being made, or it can be your inspection forwarding service, or even your freight forwarder. And you'll also need to know if there's any special type of prep work required for your types of products. Now let's talk a little bit more about that prep work. Some products on Amazon do require certain types of preparations before they can be accepted at the Amazon warehouse. For example, liquids and powders might need polybags. Polybags might need suffocation warnings if they're big enough. And food and supplements will need expiration dates. Now, before you start worrying about this, your supplier should already be well aware of these. They have to follow these requirements, whether they send them into Amazon or to another store. So chances are your supplier already knows everything and has got you taken care of. So this prep work should be done prior to sending in to Amazon, again, by your supplier, but it can also be done by an inspection service if necessary. And for some of these things, Amazon themselves can do certain types of prep work, such as polybagging and applying FN SKU labels, and they only charge a small fee for that. Now, again, almost all suppliers are well aware of this and they should already have talked to you about it, but it still makes sense for you to be aware of these as well, just to make sure you're covered. In order to do that, you want to use the help menu inside of Seller Central and then search for this, packaging and prep requirements. And that'll bring you to a menu talking all about the different products that need preparation, what Amazon can do, and what the requirements are for those. Again, it's nothing you should really worry about because your supplier should be already aware of these. But if not, your inspection and forwarding services can usually do these different types of prep services as well. Now let's head right into the next lesson and let's actually walk through setting up an FBA shipment. Welcome to the next lesson where we're going to walk through setting up your first FBA shipment. Now here I am on Amazon Seller Central and I'm on the Manage Inventory screen, and I get there by going to Inventory and then Manage Inventory. And from here there are two different ways that you can create a shipment of your products to go to Amazon. The first is to the right of the product you're sending in. You click on the menu on the right and select Send Replenish Inventory. The other way is to select the product on the left-hand side, and then you select this menu at the top and select the same option, Send Replenish Inventory. That brings us to the Send/Replenish Inventory screen. And over here under Shipping Plan, we want to leave it as Create a New Shipping Plan. The ship from address, this right here is the address of one of our warehouses, one in Chicago. If your product is being shipped from somewhere else, you would select the ship from another address and then enter that address here. For example, if you're shipping them from your home, from your freight forwarder's warehouse, your inspection service warehouse, or if you have a domestic supplier, you could be shipping them from your supplier's location as well. You would select that and enter it there. We also want to select case pack products because our products most likely will be coming many units to one box or carton. So if you're ordering 100 individual products, they may be coming in 10 separate boxes, and each one of those boxes has 10 units. That's called case packed. So we select that and then hit continue. So next we need to tell Amazon how many units come in a case and then how many cases we're sending in. So let's say that 10 units come to a case and we're sending in 10 cases. And you just want to check and make sure that the number of units is correct. And then hit continue. The next screen is for preparing your products, and some products require additional preparation. Now, usually these are products that are liquids. They may require poly bags to make sure that they don't leak, or additional seals. Most do not require additional prep, but if you're unsure, you'll want to click on View Prep Help and go through and see if your product needs additional preparation. Hit Continue. And now the next one is labeling products. Now, the important thing here is to remember that labeling here is for the FN SKU barcodes that we just talked about before. So if your product is coming in with a UPC code on the packaging, like we have suggested, then you will need to have an FN SKU label put over that barcode. You can either choose to do it yourself, and you would select merchant, that would be you or your supplier or your freight forwarder or inspection service, or you could have Amazon do that for 20 cents each. You simply select Amazon, and then they'll show you the total price for this right there. We recommend that if you have not done this before, that you do use Amazon for this service. And then you select Continue again. What happens next is Amazon's going to look at your overall shipment, and then it may split that up into multiple shipments, up to 3 different shipments, because they want to send it across the country to different warehouses. They know the types of products you're selling, and they know where these products sell the best. So they may have you ship them to multiple warehouses, and that's totally normal. Now, that's another reason why we suggest, if you're importing products, that you have them sent to someone first, such as yourself or a freight forwarder, because having products sent straight from overseas to multiple warehouses is very difficult and can be very expensive to do. That's another reason we recommend you use a freight forwarder, have them imported first into one location, and then when you're creating these FBA shipments, it's much easier to have UPS or FedEx come and pick them up, and much more cost efficient. Now, one thing that I like to do is, I'm not incredibly fond of the names that they give to these different shipments. They tell you that it's an FBA shipment and the date and the time, but it doesn't tell me anything about what's actually in these products. And believe me, once you're shipping in a lot of products, you'll want to search quickly through your shipments to see where they're at. So it's always good to have the product name in there. So I'm going to change these around. I'll leave the date in there, but let's call this something else to make it more realistic. So this is going to be olive oil sprayer, and this is 4 cases, and then I'll leave the date in there. And we'll also put in where it's going. It's going to Middleton. Now again, this is completely optional, just something that I like to do. I'm going to copy that over and put it down into the next ones. This one's going to Kenosha, and it is only for 3 cases. Everything else is the same on it though. And then this one is going to Phoenix, and it is also for 3 cases. So now if we go into here, these will make a lot more sense later on when you're actually reviewing your different FBA shipments. Once you've done that, you can select Approve Shipments. And then you'll see that Amazon has created the 3 shipments for you. Now, we're not done yet. We still have to work on each one of these shipments and create the shipping labels. So let's go through and do it for one of these. There'll be exactly the same process for each one. Let's just walk through one by selecting the Work on Shipment button. Now we do that, it's going to show us the basic information at the top. And I like to review this just to make sure, here's the shipment name, where it's coming from, where it's going to, and how many units I'm shipping in here. Now we're going to scroll down and we're going to select the shipping service. Now for almost everyone here, it's going to be small parcel delivery. This is usually UPS or FedEx. If we were in Europe, it would just show UPS as an option. LTL, we don't show that training here because that's when you're shipping in palletfuls of products all from inside the country. That's only when you're really producing a lot of products. It can be more cost effective. So later on, you will want to look into that. But for getting going, we definitely want to choose small parcel delivery for now and use one of Amazon's partners over here, UPS or FedEx. And when they say deeply discounted, they really do mean it. The pricing that you'll get here is cheaper than you'll ever get anywhere else. So we have UPS selected. You can also price test these. So we can go through this process using UPS. We'll see what the cost is, and then we can do it all over again just by clicking one button and checking FedEx's cost as well and pick the cheapest one. They both work just about the same. Now over here under how the shipment packing, how it will be packed, we want to select it's going in multiple boxes. Unless you're only shipping in one box of products, you'll want to select multiple boxes. Now you also want to select use the web form. You can upload a file in a specific format to tell Amazon exactly what's in there, but that's pretty complicated to do. Or you can skip it, but Amazon's going to charge you a fee for that. We'll just use web form because we have all the information that we need and it's very simple to enter. When you select use the web form, it's simply going to go show you down here how many units are coming in per box. We already know this one. We already entered it. Why it's not carried over, I don't know, but that's Amazon. So we know it's 10 units per box. We also know that this particular shipment, we're sending in 3 cases. So we simply enter that here. And it's going to update the quantity to 30. Now, the one thing we don't know, or we haven't entered yet, is the weight in pounds. And now in Europe, when you're doing this, of course, this will be in kilograms, but you enter in the total weight for the entire carton, not each product, but for all 10 of these in the carton, what is the total weight? Let's say this one is going to be 25 pounds. Now, it asks you to put in the shipping dimensions, but you do not need to enter those in. Amazon will not require that. Maybe at some point in the future, that will become a required field. If it is, you simply enter it in either inches or centimeters and update it. But for now, we can leave that blank. Once we do that, you can select confirm. And then it's going to show you the shipping charges box down here. Now, it's going to confirm again. We're sending 3 boxes for a weight of 75 pounds because each one is 25 pounds. And to get the estimated cost, hit calculate. And look at that, 75 pounds is less than $20. That is an insanely cheap amount to pay for UPS. Now, one thing, like I mentioned before, since we have the option in the US to also ship with FedEx, let's go check them out and see what the cost would be. Simply scroll up, select FedEx, scroll back down. We do need to confirm that all the dimensions of the weight and the units and number of boxes are the same. Hit confirm. Now let's calculate again. And look, FedEx in this situation is actually cheaper, $16.60 versus just under $20. Now, the next step is to select I agree to the terms and then hit accept charges. I'm not actually going to do that right now because I don't really sell aluminum olive oil sprayers and I don't really want to send any in. But when you do that, you hit accept charges, then this print label box will become active. And when you click on the print labels box, you're going to then be shown the shipping labels in a PDF form. You want to save those labels somewhere on your computer, and then either you will print them out and apply them to your cartons, or you'll email those to your freight forwarder or inspection service or your supplier, whoever is putting those on if you're not doing it. And that's really all there is to creating your own FBA shipment. Now, if you're not using UPS or FedEx, the process is exactly the same. Let's just scroll up. You would simply select another carrier. And if the carrier that you're using is listed here, you would select them. If it's not, if it's a different service altogether, select other. And then as you scroll down, everything else is exactly the same. Units per box, number of boxes. You do need to confirm them again. The only thing you'll notice that's different is we don't have the calculate option because we're not actually paying for the shipping. We're only printing out labels and then you'll be responsible for paying for the shipping yourself. Now, because the costs are so cheap when using FedEx and UPS and paying for it through your Seller Central account, we definitely recommend using them. But if for some reason you don't want to and using a different shipping service, this is how you print out the shipping labels that you still need to have on your cartons. Another thing to keep in mind are the instructions that you're shown on the right-hand side. One is that if your boxes weigh more than 50 pounds, you need to make sure that you have the words Team Lift printed on the top and on the sides. And secondly, you can only use approved packing material. Now, they have a whole list of what's approved, what's not approved, and I recommend searching help on Amazon on Seller Central to find out what's approved. The most important takeaway, though, is styrofoam packing peanuts are not approved. The way that Amazon has their warehouses set up and working, they do not want styrofoam packing peanuts. So that's the most common mistake. We've made the mistake before. You usually get a warning or a slap the first time, but you can get penalized for it and fined for it later on. So don't use styrofoam packing peanuts. You can use bubble wrap, you can use newspaper, you can use those big sheets of plastic filled with air bubbles. Those all work, but again, just search on there. They'll tell you all the things that you can use. And if you're selling in Europe or another market, they'll have the 50 pounds converted over to the right unit. I just need to check it out on the screen. It'll tell you exactly what it is. And finally, the last thing to do when you're done is simply select complete shipment, and that'll take you back to your shipping queue where you then can go through the other 2 shipments and repeat the process that we just went through. So that's it for creating your first FBA shipment, and we'll see you in the next lesson. Welcome to the next lesson, your final product images. And in this fairly short lesson, we're going to cover the following: how to ship your final product from Amazon to anywhere you want to. And then we're going to do a recap of how to get the perfect product images for your products now that they're finally complete and at Amazon. If you happen to have all your final finished products shipped straight to Amazon, there's a chance that you don't have a finished version yourself. So this is the perfect opportunity to have Amazon ship you one of your very own products. Not only will this show you exactly what a customer sees when your product arrives at their home, it's also the same process that you'll use in the future when sending replacement products to your customers that are having issues. You can use the same process for sending products to your photographer when you want them to take photos of your products. It's called creating a fulfillment order, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So in order to create a fulfillment order to send to yourself or to someone else, you log into Seller Central, and then you go to the Manage Inventory screen. Now here I have it filtered down to one product, and in order to send that product anywhere you want, you go to the menu on the far right and select Create Fulfillment Order. On the next screen, we simply enter in the shipping details of who we're sending this to. So if it's to yourself, you put in your address. If it's your photographer, you put in their address, or anyone else you might want to send this to at some point in time. Let me enter my details now. And you only need to fill in those fields that have an asterisk by them. You can leave everything else blank on here. Now, if you did want to send a special message to a customer, if this was a replacement product, you could change that right there. But since I'm just sending this to my photographer, there's nothing else I have to do other than making sure that the quantity I want to send is correct. It defaults to 1, and then hitting continue. On the final screen, we just review before we place the order. Under the fulfillment action, you want it to ship the inventory immediately. There is an option to hold this inventory for up to 2 weeks. We don't need to do that right now, but this is helpful if you ever want to reserve inventory and make sure that Amazon doesn't sell all your inventory. You can hold it for up to 2 weeks, but for the sake of this exercise here, you don't need to worry about this option right now. Just leave it as ship this inventory. Then you choose the shipping speed. Most likely you choose standard, but if you want to select 2-day or 1-day shipping, you can do that. If we select that, you'll notice the price over here changes. As we go to 2-day, it went up to $9.05. And then 1-day, it goes to $17. I'm just going to check the standard now where it's only $5.95. And then once you're done, you make sure everything is correct. All you do is click on place order, and then you're done. And your product shall arrive by the date that it lists here under each of the different shipping speeds. So now that we know how to ship a product to ourselves or to our photographer from Amazon, let's talk about our images again. Back in Module 5, Rich Henderson covered the following primary image requirements. They should have a pure white background. No graphics nor text should be on them. It should be only of the product. It should be a square image with 1000 by 1000 resolution at a minimum, and the higher the better. You want all of the extra white space cropped out of the outside because that'll make your image look as big as possible on your listing. And you want the image quality to be as high as possible. Now for all the other images on our listing, we'll call those the secondary images. We learned the following back in Module 5 as well. They can have any color background, not just white, but you do want them to be a square image with a minimum 1000 by 1000 resolution, and you want the image quality to be as high as possible. However, instead of just having the product in the image, you can have lifestyle images, different angles of the product, and structural images, and images of all the different accessories and components that are used along with the product. The images on the right over here are a few good examples of the secondary images. The first 2 are actually lifestyle images, and then the third one is an image showing one of the accessories that comes along with the product. Now, if your products are ready for sale at Amazon, but you don't yet have high quality images, now's the time to take care of that. While, of course, you can try to take pictures yourselves, we personally believe that this is best left to the professionals and that your sales results will reflect that. Therefore, we recommend sending a completed product to a professional photographer by creating a fulfillment order just like we showed you earlier. If you're looking for a few good options of photographers to use, we've included several in the private vault, such as Product Photography, Creative Minds, Coldbox Films, and Better Product Photography. We know members who have used each of these companies and they've done a great job, but if you know someone else or if you want to find your own, there's nothing wrong with that. Just make sure that you're able to get good, high quality images for your products. Now, when it comes to getting the lifestyle images, those aren't always quite as simple. Many photographers, even the ones in our private vault, aren't always able to do that because they have to have models available, or they have to coordinate and schedule that to happen, or it can simply be more expensive because, again, they have to pay someone to model your product and to use it. So another option that you can use, and that's usually much more affordable, is to use a photography service that can take your high quality product photo image by itself and then combine it with a stock photo in order to make it look like that product was there when that stock photo was created. Rich Henderson already covered this in Module 5, and the company that he's used and several other people have used is one called Octodime.shop. And if you go to the link here on the screen and use discount code ASM7, you will get a special discount that we've negotiated for you. Now, if you want to see examples of all these different types of images that we've talked about, please review the product images that attract and convert lesson from Module 5. And Rich Henderson has several more examples there that you've already seen. But it always makes sense when it comes time to get your photos to go back and look at those, or simply go on Amazon and look at them to get ideas for different images that you can tell your photographer that you want to have made with your product in it. And that's it for this short lesson. Now, the only action to take is that if you haven't already done so and your products are ready, go get some professional, high-quality images for your product and get them onto your Amazon listing. In the next lesson, we're going to talk about getting your initial product reviews so you can finally launch your product and start getting some sales. Welcome to the next lesson, your initial product reviews. And here's what we'll be covering. We'll try to better understand Amazon's most recent incentivized review policy update, how many reviews you really need to launch your product, and then how to get those reviews. In 2016, Amazon made their biggest change to date to the review policy, and they no longer allowed the use of what are called incentivized reviews. Reviews play a critical role in the Amazon marketplace and are important to customers in order to make informed buying decisions, so Amazon is constantly looking for ways to improve the entire review process and how they fit into the marketplace. Now, while Amazon never allowed anyone to pay for reviews, they did allow the common practice of reviewers posting an honest review in exchange for a free or discounted product, as long as that was disclosed in the review. These were called incentivized reviews, and they only made up a small part of all the different reviews on Amazon. And so they felt that it was still a good policy to have up to this date. However, because they felt there was enough abuse of the review system going on, they updated their guidelines to prohibit any type of incentivized review. The only way you could do that is if you used a program called the Amazon Vine program, which is a program that's only available to Amazon vendors. So what does that mean for us? Well, it simply means that sellers are no longer allowed to offer customers any type of incentive, such as a free product or a discounted product, in exchange for review, even if that review is honest and not biased and disclosed in the review. Now, while many sellers initially thought that the sky was falling, it's actually helped out quite a bit and made Amazon even stronger. And it's helped level the playing field because there were thousands of sellers out there who were completely abusing the review system and getting hundreds, if not thousands of reviews at a time. Let's cover a few questions that immediately came up after this change went into effect. Did this mean that you can no longer offer any discounts at all? Well, no. Discounts, even very large ones, offered during a launch phase like we suggest doing, they're very common, they're completely legitimate and allowed, and they're an excellent way to help launch your product, increase your brand awareness, and jumpstart your sales. Now, does this also mean that if you do offer a customer a discount, you can never ask them for a review? No, that's not true either. The policy specifically states that you're prohibited from tying the request for a review to the offer of a discount. So you can't say to them, I'll give you a discount or a free product if you give me a review. What you can do, you can offer the discount or even the free product, and then after they've tried it out, you can follow up with them afterwards and then request that they give you a review. However, if too many customers receive your products at a steep discount, start leaving reviews, all within a short time period especially, it is not uncommon for Amazon to remove them since it has the appearance of a discount being tied to review. That's just something to keep in mind. For this reason, Some sellers have stopped asking for reviews completely in their follow-up emails, and instead, they either let the reviews come in completely naturally, or they only ask for a review once a customer has replied to them in an email sequence and started a conversation. It makes it much more natural, and then you can come by and follow up and ask them if they liked your product and would be willing to give you some product feedback. So, what does this all mean to us? Well, since offering products for free or at a steep discount was the most common way for sellers, both new ones and old ones, to get reviews on their products that they were launching, well, we now have to work harder and smarter in order to get those reviews. Unfortunately, there is no magic silver bullet that anyone out there has that'll allow you to launch a product and get a ton of reviews right away. We have to work smarter, and it will take a little more time to do it. But in the long run, this will be a good thing for us because we're building our business the right way. If you come across a service that offers to get you a bunch of reviews, stay away from them. These can put your account at risk, and most likely those reviews won't stick and will be pulled off at some point in the future anyway. Now, we'll talk about the best ways to get reviews later on in this lesson. Before we talk about how you're going to get those reviews, let's first talk about how many reviews you really need. Even though you may be competing against products out there that have hundreds or maybe even thousands of reviews, however, if you did the training correctly, you shouldn't be in this situation. But if you are going up against some pretty heavily reviewed products, you don't need to immediately go out there and try to out-review them. That would be impossible to do anyway. Products with only a handful of positive reviews can still sell very well, especially if you use the training that you've already received on how to optimize your listing and the training you're about to receive on launching your product. To show you what I mean, let's take a quick look. This product only has 8 reviews, but by using a tool called Jungle Scout that helps us estimate how many sales each product makes a day and how much revenue it generates, we estimate that this product sells 29 units a day, or actually $17,000 a month in sales. Now, that's pretty great for only having 8 customer reviews. Look at this one. It also has 8 customer reviews, but the rating is a 3.5-star rating. But again, looking at Jungle Scout, this product is estimated to sell 33 units a day, or $55,000 a month in sales. And finally, here's another product. Of course, this has 20 reviews, so a little bit more, but it's only a 4-star rating. And this product is estimated to sell 23 units a day, or $14,000 a month in sales. So am I trying to tell you that reviews no longer matter and we shouldn't go out there and try to get as many as possible? Well, absolutely not. The more reviews you have, the higher your conversion rate will be. But my point is, you don't have to have a ton of reviews in order to launch your product and start making sales right away. But the question is, how many should we try to get? And while the answer, of course, is as many as possible, a realistic answer is somewhere between 5 and 10 reviews are plenty to get started and start selling and launching your product. If we're going to go out and try to get reviews, we need to know who actually can leave reviews on Amazon. And the answer is anyone who spent at least $50. Those are the people that can post a review. Now, while you don't actually have to go out there and buy a product in order to leave a review for that product, when you do buy a product and leave a review for it, those reviews are called verified reviews, and they hold much more weight than what are called unverified reviews. And that's when anyone goes out there and leaves a review for a product that they actually did not buy on Amazon. Let's take a quick look and see the difference of those. In the first example on the top, that's a verified purchase, and that's what shows up next to their review. And right below it, you'll see that the verified purchase tag is left off, and that means that that review is unverified, and that person bought that product somewhere else and decided to leave the review on Amazon. Because unverified reviews could really be abused if sellers just started going out there and asking everyone to review all their products all the time, Amazon limits the number of unverified reviews that can be posted by each customer to only 5 a week. You also need to keep in mind that any purchases made with a promotional or discount code at a very large discount, and Amazon doesn't tell us what that is, but it's probably something above 40 or 50%. But they reserve the right to mark that review as unverified as well due to that heavy discount. So let's start talking about where you can actually get your first reviews from. And it's no surprise that the best place is still friends and family. This is still the #1 way to get reviews for any new seller launching a new product. Now, the review must be authentic. They need to buy the product and use it and try it out before they go out there and create their review. You also want to make sure that they don't use any discount codes. That's a red flag, especially if they're relatives of yours or very close friends. Instead, simply launch the product at a lower price than you eventually want to sell it at. That way, it'll help it start selling and ranking better, and people who do buy it, even if they're not friends and family, will feel like they're getting a really good deal and be more apt to give you a positive review. Plus, it just makes it a much more palatable purchase for your friends and family when you're asking them to do you a favor. Now, if they are family, then make sure they don't have the same last name as you. Amazon will pick up on that. And if they're friends or family, they can't live in the same household as you. Otherwise, Amazon will tie that together and they won't allow the review to be posted. Now, be aware that Amazon is really, really smart and really connected, and there's always the possibility that even if it's just a far off friend living far away, that if Amazon feels that you're just asking them to write your review and they somehow tie it together, sometimes Amazon can go out there and remove those reviews. Doesn't happen too often, but just keep that in mind that they're pretty smart and the world is pretty connected. So if it happens, it just happens. Now here's your action. Right now, come up with a list of 5 to 10 friends or family members that you can ask to give you a review once you launch your product. In addition to friends and family, you can also look to get reviews from those who follow you on social media. This is exactly why we asked you to set up your social media accounts much earlier in the course. So if you're active on social media, chances are you're going to start attracting followers. And then prior to launching, what I would do is start teasing your new product launch and then reach out to those who show interest in it. Here's an example I just posted for Ninja Spatulas. I said, launching a brand new product soon at a crazy low price for the first 10 customers. Anyone interested? And then some poor guy at the bottom, he took the bait and said, heck yeah, how do I get in on this? So if that happens and someone bites and shows some interest, you simply reply to them and ask them to message you to see if they want to buy your product at a special launch only price. Now, don't mention anything about a review right now. But once they receive the product, you message them again, and then you'll see if they like the product and be willing to give you a product review. So here's your very next action. Start planning out and even start making your teaser posts about your new product to help gather some interest on your social media sites and gathering potential reviewers for your product. Now, we also have something that's hot off the presses and was just announced today, and that's the Amazon Early Reviewer Program. I'm literally updating this whole video just a day and a half before it goes live because I wanted to include this extra slide to talk about this announcement that Amazon made today. This program has just launched, so it has not been tested out yet, so it might not be ready for us to use it. And also, brand registry seems to be a requirement. So unless you're brand registered, you may want to consider going ahead and getting a trademark sooner rather than later because that is a requirement for brand registry, or at least having applied for a trademark is. The cost is $60 per product to get reviews, and it's only for products with less than 5 reviews. And it'll only get you up to 5 reviews as well. It's currently only available in the US. And if you want to read more about it, go into Seller Central and then check out the Early Reviewer Program under your advertising menu. Again, this has just been launched, so it might not even be ready for prime time, but we wanted to make you aware of it in case this is something that's of value to you in order to get your first couple of reviews. Let's talk about how your reviewers will be getting the products. For verified reviews, the only way to do it is if they purchase it through Amazon. And you want them to purchase it like any other customer. That means you don't want them to use a discount code, but to make it a little more palatable for them, I would launch your product at a lower price than you really want to sell your price for, just to make that purchase more appealing to them. Also, we definitely do not recommend reimbursing anyone for buying your product. But if for some reason you choose to do so, definitely do not do that by giving them an Amazon refund. Now, if you're going to get just a couple unverified reviews, you can simply give the product to someone and ask them to give a review, and it'll show up as an unverified review. Now, this is definitely not a long-term strategy for building reviews, but it's still an easy way to get reviews when you're just starting out and people oftentimes forget about it. Remember, we want to make sure that we're not incentivizing people to go out there and give us a review just in exchange for a free product. However, there still is nothing against someone giving you an unverified review if they've already used the product and choose to do so. This is a little bit of a gray area, so use sparingly and use at your discretion. The last thing we're going to talk about is something called Amazon giveaways. So if you have someone, let's say a friend, a family member, or a social media follower, and they're willing to try out your product, give you a review, but they don't want to buy the product and you don't want to send it to them yourself, another way to get them the product is to set up something called an Amazon giveaway. These are sweepstakes that are run by Amazon that you pay for, you set up, and you determine the rules for. Now, in the next lesson, we're going to cover setting one up, and I'll show you how to use that to get your products to anyone willing to give you a review. All right, so if you still can't get any reviews after what we talked about here, for example, if you don't live in the country you're selling in and you're struggling to get those initial reviews, please head on over to the Facebook community and post in there your issue, and the mentors and members will be able to offer up some other suggestions to help you out. So that's it. Now, the actions you should be taking right now is you should be planning out how you're going to get those first 5 to 10 reviews by coming up with a list of 5 to 10 family members or friends that you can ask to give you a review, and planning out and making your teaser post to help gather some potential reviewers from your social media accounts. Now, what's coming up in the next lesson, I'm going to show you how to set up an Amazon giveaway to send some products to people and get some reviews, as well as get a bit of a sales boost. I'll see you in the next lesson. Welcome to the next lesson on Amazon giveaways. And in this lesson, here's what we'll be covering. What exactly are Amazon giveaways, how you can use them to get products to your reviewers, and then we'll walk you through how to set up your first Amazon giveaway. So if you don't know what a giveaway is, they're basically sweepstakes that are run by Amazon and that allow anyone, buyers and even sellers alike, to host a contest on Amazon where the winners get a completely free product from one of the products sold on Amazon. These giveaways are updated every single day, and at the following link below, you can actually see today's giveaways. Now let's go take a quick look at what's being offered today. As you can see here, there are 3 feature giveaways, which are usually for some more high value prizes. And below, they list out all the other giveaways. And as of today, there are actually 949 different giveaways being run. That means anyone who's a member of Amazon can go on here, enter these contests, and try to win a free prize simply by taking a few simple actions. So if we were to click on one of these, here's what we would see. Now, this product here is a Kindle Paperwhite e-reader. That's what they're giving away. And the only thing you need to do for this particular contest is to watch the video below. Now, there are different things you might need to do in order to enter the giveaway. You could tweet something on Twitter. You could watch a video like here. You could follow an author. You could actually watch an Amazon instant short video, or you might not have to do anything at all. That's completely up to the person setting up the contest. And in this situation, they simply wanted someone to watch this video. So in the future, in other modules, we'll be talking about these more advanced options, but for the sake of this giveaway, we're not going to require our entrants to do anything other than simply get the free product that we want them to review. So what are Amazon giveaways used for? Well, originally, they were designed for companies and marketing agencies to more easily host contests and provide products sold on Amazon as the prizes for those winners. Once a contest was set up, Amazon took care of everything else, from running the contest, picking the winners, and even shipping the products to the winners. It also used to be that the products that were the prizes had to be vendor sold products or products that had shipped and sold by Amazon underneath them. However, now you can actually use your products as the prizes as long as they are FBA products. There are 2 main reasons why we as Amazon sellers might want to run a giveaway right now. Number 1 would be to provide a really easy way for potential reviewers to get our products directly from Amazon without us needing to get their details, such as their name and address. We simply set up a giveaway, give them a special link, and everything else is taken care of. The second reason, and one of the reasons why we're teaching you this right now, is that it also provides a quick sales boost, since every product that you're awarding as a prize counts as a full price sale. Now, you may be wondering who pays for the prizes, or better yet, the products that are being given away as prizes, and the answer is simple: you do. Since you're the seller, however, you'll get most of the money back when Amazon pays you for these sales. You purchase the prizes for the contest, but those sales show up in your seller account, and then every 2 weeks, you get reimbursed for them minus whatever fees Amazon charges, just like you would a normal sale. Now, any products that are not won during the contest, let's say you set the contest up for 10 prizes and you only end up giving away 5, well, those are completely refunded back to you including any shipping fees that you have to pay for during the setup of the contest. So here's exactly how we use a giveaway right now when we're trying to get reviews for our products. If you already have people that are willing to try out your product and give you a review, you can set up a giveaway contest that will allow them to win the product and have it shipped to them by Amazon. But keep in mind that you have to have these potential reviewers identified ahead of time. Giveaways aren't really that useful for trying to find new reviewers. We've tried several times to do that, but really it's only useful if you have people that are already willing to give you a review and you want a simple way of having them get the product shipped to them. Now, Amazon only tells us the name of the people who've won your product, so you'll need to be able to follow up with them outside of Amazon once they received and tried out the product. But since you've already found these people and reached out to them ahead of time, you should already have their email address, Twitter account, Facebook profile, or some other way of contacting them. Now, you may be asking yourself, why in the world go through all this trouble of setting up a giveaway when you could just as easily send the product to a potential reviewer by creating a fulfillment order? And there's a couple different reasons. The first reason is that giveaways don't require to have their shipping address, and it makes it much easier to get them the product. All you need to do is send them a special link that's generated when you set up the giveaway, and then they and Amazon take care of the rest. Also, it looks a little more natural to Amazon since the customer is winning this product from a contest and you're not just shipping it straight to them out of your Seller Central account. And lastly, as mentioned before, you actually get a sales boost when you're purchasing these products and setting up the giveaway. It's really important to keep in mind that an official Amazon giveaway is the only time that you are ever allowed to purchase your own product from yourself. Under no circumstances, even from your own personal Amazon account, should you ever buy one of your own products. That's a surefire way to get your account into trouble. Now, using a giveaway is completely optional. This is not something that you have to do in order to launch and sell your products. But this is an advanced alternative method for getting a sales boost, as well as getting reviews and sending products to reviewers. So we wanted to make sure you have this available to you. So let's see how to set up an Amazon giveaway. And there are two main ways to do that. The first is right inside of Seller Central from inside your promotions menu. On there, you'll see a type of promotion called a giveaway, and you simply select create, and then you'll pick the product you want to give away. The other method is from any product page on Amazon where the product is either shipped by Amazon or fulfilled by Amazon. When you scroll to the bottom, you should see the Set Up an Amazon Giveaway button, and you'll select that in order to create the giveaway. There are a few products, usually those that are too cheap or don't meet some type of odd requirement by Amazon, that you won't see this on, but pretty much 99% of the products that are fulfilled by Amazon or sold by Amazon are eligible for a giveaway, including the ones that you'll be selling. Now, once you select either one of those options, you'll be taken to the Set Up a Giveaway screen where you want to enter all the details. So I selected the Echo Dot. Of course, I'm not Amazon. That's not my product. I wish it were. But we're going to first select the number of prizes that we'll be giving away. Now, the most you can give away during any one single giveaway is 30 units. However, it can be less if the available amount in inventory is less than that. And in this situation, Amazon only has 24 Echo Dots available, so they know you can't give away any more than that. If you are giving away one of your own products, which is what you should be doing, and you have less than 30 units, then you'll also only have that lesser amount available to you. Now, make sure that you set up a giveaway with enough products so that you'll be able to send those unique links that we'll be showing you get later to each of the people that you want to get a review for. And if you have 3 or 4 people already identified and you might have a few more people you're waiting to hear back from, I would go up and set the giveaway up for 7 or 8, a few additional more, so you don't have to go through the process of creating a whole nother giveaway. It's just easier to do that now. Also, since we're going to be getting credit for each of these sales immediately, and it's going to look like we just sold, let's say, 10 units right away, I would err on the side of setting up for more products than you really need. The only downside of that is you'll have to pay for those products right now, because even though we're getting most of the money back once Amazon reimburses us in our Seller Central account, you still need to pay for those right now on your credit card. Another thing to keep in mind is that if you end up only giving away 5 products and you actually set the giveaway up for many more, you'll get immediately refunded for those that you don't give away once the giveaway is over. So the next thing to do is to select the giveaway type. And even though there's 4 different types, For this particular use, we're going to select first come, first serve because we just want the people that we send to this giveaway to immediately win this product. We don't want to set up anything differently. The sweepstakes, random instant win, and lucky number instant win, that allows us to have a lot more participants in the contest, even though we only may have a few winners, but we're not going to do that right now. Those will be taught during a future lesson in a future module and can be used for some really cool things. The next thing then, you have to tell Amazon how you're growing your audience. And you'll notice at the top that there are several other options, following an author, which isn't applicable for us because we're not authors, but following you on Twitter, tweeting a message, watching an Amazon video short, watching a YouTube video, or just answering a question. Those are all things that you can ask participants to do before they have the chance to win your product. Now, again, we're going to talk about those in the future because you can do some really cool things. But for the sake of what we're doing right now, you want to select no additional requirements. The next thing is you set up the giveaway duration. The maximum is 7 days. And I suggest you just use that because it may take some of your participants a few days to actually use that link. And besides, once the giveaway has actually given away all the products you set up, it's going to cancel and end anyway because they're out of products. So it won't really go the full 7 days. For the next section, leave it at the default of not including a discount. And again, as Amazon sellers, we have a little bit more that we can do with these giveaways, but we won't be talking about that right now. This one's really important. There's an option to make this giveaway public. So anyone who goes to that initial Amazon giveaway screen that I showed you at the very beginning can see your giveaway and try to win that. We do not want that to happen in this situation because we want to make sure that the only people who know about this giveaway are those that we are trying to get reviews from and who we're sending these links to. Now, lastly, and this is very important, you want to make your giveaway invite only. And that means that you're going to get a unique link that they'll give you a downloadable file that includes all the links, and you'll email or message or tweet, however you want to do it, each link to the people that you want to get this giveaway. So you need to make sure to check that box. Otherwise, you will not get unique links and you have one single link that you have to send everyone to, and that could be shared and other people you don't want could potentially get your product from the giveaway. Now, you just click next and go to the next screen. Here now we need to create the wording that we're going to have on our giveaway. And you can change this around. I just put in some basic information. You need to give your giveaway a title. So I would just call it, my product giveaway or whatever your giveaway is. You give the name of you, whoever is giving away the products. So I would put in your brand name. You can also upload a logo for your brand if you have one created already. And then you create a brief welcome message that everyone sees when they arrive on your giveaway page. Right here I entered, thanks for entering our giveaway contest. Be sure to shoot us an email once you've received your product to let us know how you like it. And you could even put in your website, your Facebook site, or your email address right there. Now again, we're only sending these to a specific list of people, so that doesn't necessarily make sense to do that, but I'm including that here because at some point you may want to try using giveaways to get reviews from a lot more people. And this is the only way you have to reach out to the people, through the welcome message, and then the win page for those who win, and the lose page for those who lose. So if you're trying to get reviews off of giveaways, you won't be able to email these people unless you know them already. You want to take advantage of this space here. Now, again, we're not using that right here. I'm just giving that to you as an example. Then you also need to enter the win page message. And this is what is going to be seen by people who actually win your prize. And in this situation, it's going to be everyone because you want the first people to come to your listing or your giveaway to win the product. So they're all going to see this. And I simply put in, you won. Once you've received and tried it out, please shoot us a message at, and then give them your email address to let us know how you like it. So even though we know who these people are and we're going to be reaching out to them, I want to let them know, hey, reach out to us because we want to hear how you like it. And then lastly, and this again doesn't really matter because we should not have any losers, just put in a brief little message. And you could say something again that, later on, if you're using these giveaways for real sweepstakes and some people will be losing, put a message in there about reaching out to you, sending you an email, going to your website, maybe registering for your own email list. That way they'll be eligible for future giveaways. Then the last screens you'll be brought to is where you actually have to pay for the products. And yes, you do have to pay for these products. And in addition, you will most likely have to pay for shipping these products as well. Even though you're a seller and you may have Prime, and even though some of the people winning may have Amazon Prime as well, Amazon tries to get you for shipping charges on here. Sometimes I don't see them, and I can't really quite figure out why, but in general, count on yourself paying for these shipping charges, and it's kind of just the cost of running a giveaway. However, You will get the majority of what you spend on these giveaways back when Amazon pays you for these sales. And in addition, like I mentioned before, if any of these products aren't actually given away, let's say you only have 3 people who win these 5 products, you will get refunded for the products that you don't actually give away. Now let's talk about what happens next. Once you set up your giveaway, it usually takes about 2 hours for it to go live. And when that happens, you'll get an email notification, and then you'll need to go into your Amazon.com account. Now, this is the exact same login as your Seller Central account, but you go to Amazon.com instead, because that's where giveaways are managed. And here's an example where to find that. Again, I'm logged into Amazon.com, not Seller Central. And when you go to my account, you'll see in the lower right-hand corner where I have pointed out in red, the giveaways button. Now, you will click on that, and then here's what you'll see. You'll see the links for your giveaways. There actually is a download link that I have circled in red up above. When you click that, you'll get a zipped file that'll include each of the links that you will want to send to your reviewers so that they can go in there, enter your contest, enter their details, and have the product sent to them. In addition, you can also see the names of all the people who win them by clicking on the confirmed winners button as well. That way you can check and see how many people are actually taking you up on your offer and what the names are of those people. So now let's tie all this together. If you're ready to set up and run an Amazon giveaway, here are the steps you need to follow. Set up your giveaway either inside of Seller Central or on your product detail page as shown here. Enter the number of products you want to give away, and then select the correct options that we had outlined in this video. Submit your giveaway and then wait for it to go live, usually about 2 hours. Once it's live, you'll get an email notifying you that. Go back into your Amazon.com account, go into your giveaways, and get those unique links that you'll be using to send to your potential reviewers. Send one link to each person and make sure they know how long that the giveaway is active for, which is 7 days by default. About a week or so after that, and you can check and see if they've used it because you'll see their name pop up under your giveaway, reach back out to them and see how they like the product and ask them if they'll leave you a product review. It's as simple as that. Now it's time to take action. If your product is live on Amazon, go ahead and set up a giveaway to get an initial boost of sales and to provide an easy way to give out products to a few potential reviewers that you've identified ahead of time. And here's what's coming up. In the next video, we're going to learn how to schedule, set up, and launch your product to start getting some immediate sales. I'll see you in the very next lesson. Welcome to the next lesson, the Launch, Blitz, and Rank overview. And here's what we're going to be covering. We'll do a brief history of Launch, Blitz, and Rank and learn why it's the most powerful product launch strategy available today. We'll also do a brief overview of it, and at times I may refer to it simply as LB&R to save time and space. And then we'll also learn about the different phases of a successful LB&R launch. So first, let's talk a little bit about the history. For the past few years, one of the most powerful methods for launching products and quickly moving them up in the search ranks was a process called a sales and traffic blitz. This process involved getting a small amount of diverse traffic from all over the internet and then sending it to your newly launched product. And at the same time, you also want to get a lot of deeply discounted sales that resulted in a very high conversion rate. This process has and continues to work very well even today. As with any strategy, we have to continually improve it and looking for ways to make it even more effective. And one of those ways that came about was the Amazon giveaway service that we talked about in the previous lesson. As Amazon continually improved and updated the service, we found certain ways to incorporate it into a traffic blitz that made the traffic and sales blitz even more powerful. And finally, the final piece was the Facebook launch and rank formula. This most recent addition is the most powerful to date, and it utilizes the incredible reach and targeting power of Facebook, along with coupon codes and targeted URLs. Now, adding this process to the already improved sales and traffic blitz allowed us to take out some of the steps that were no longer as effective and then replace them with much more powerful and even simpler methods. The final result is the new combined strategy that we're calling for the first time ever the Launch, Blitz, and Rank, and it is by far the easiest and most powerful method for launching or even relaunching any product on Amazon. Not only does it give you the best opportunity to increase your search rank, which is vital for increasing sales, but it also allows you to do that quicker than ever before and with fewer deeply discounted products than previously needed. Let's look at the different components that make up a successful LBNR product launch. The first are small amounts of diverse traffic. Amazon seems to reward products that get traffic from all over the internet. And by reward, we mean increased visibility and better search rankings. So one component of our product launches are to give Amazon exactly that, a small amount of diverse traffic from multiple sources across the internet. However, keep in mind, we emphasize small amount because if you send too much traffic and it doesn't convert well, it can actually hurt your conversion rates. The next component would be a burst or bursts of sales. These small controlled bursts of sales, such as one through an Amazon giveaway that we talked about in the previous lesson, also tend to spike the Amazon search algorithm and help push you up in the search and sales rankings. The third and most important are targeted storefront URL driven sales. Now, don't worry if you have no idea what that is. We'll cover that in detail in a later lesson, but these sales are the most important part of the whole process, and they greatly increase your conversion rate and help you increase your search rankings for the keywords that you are targeting. All these components will cross over into each other and blend together a little bit, but the combined results is an extremely powerful and successful launch that jumpstarts your product sales and search rankings. There are three main phases for a successful launch. The first are the pre-launch activities. And this is where you plan out the entire launch and you make sure that everything is ready for day one of when you start your product launch. Next is the actual launch, and this is executed over a period of 4 to 7 days for maximum benefit. And finally, it's the post-launch, where you wind down the launch and you make sure that any extra traffic that's no longer necessary has been turned off. Now, throughout the entire process, it's important to track your product's traffic and ranking stats, and we'll show you exactly how to do that in a later video. In the next video, we'll start the planning phase for your own Launch, Blitz, and Rank product launch. So head on over to the next lesson, and I'll see you there. Welcome to the next lesson of the Amazing Selling Machine, the Launch, Blitz, and Rank pre-launch activities, part 1. And in this long and rather detailed lesson, here's everything that we're going to be covering. How to keep track of everything you're doing using the LBNR checklist located below this video, what your product and listing must have in order to be ready for your launch, actually scheduling your launch, determining your primary keywords that you'll be targeting, creating your Amazon storefront search URL, setting up your Amazon promotions, creating a basic Google AdWords ad, setting up your first Amazon sponsored product ads, having a press release created and released, preparing your social media content for your launch, and then protecting your inventory to make sure nothing unexpected or bad happens. Now below this video, you'll find a link where you can download the Launch, Rank, and Blitz checklist. That way, as you go through this lesson, you can keep track of everything that you've done to make sure that you're fully ready to kick off your product launch. Now, preparing for your launch is the hardest and longest part of the entire launch process. So once you get through all this hard work, the launch itself will actually be easy and fun. Now, this launch strategy is the most comprehensive and up-to-date one we've ever created. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to head over into the Facebook community and ask away. Let's start off by talking about your product and listing requirements needed before being able to kick off your launch. Your product should have, at a minimum, between 5 and 10 reviews. Your follow-up emails should be ready and in place using a service such as Managed by Stats or another similar email service. You should have approximately 50 to 100 units of inventory available for sale. Now, we may not even need all those, but it's still good to have that many just in case. Now, if you've met these 3 requirements, be sure to update your checklist. Once you have those core product and listing requirements met, it's time to schedule your launch. Now, in prior launch strategies, scheduling your launch far in advance, sometimes even a week or 2, was crucial because you had to gather up all of your leads, or all those people who are going to purchase your product with a coupon on a specific day. You had to do that well before you even started the launch because they all had to be in place on day 1 of the launch. However, now that we're utilizing the power of Facebook, that's no longer as important. You can literally create and launch our very special rank increasing Facebook offer ad, and we'll be learning about that in the next lesson. You can do that in just a few minutes and have sales coming in within the hour. So it's no longer as critical to have this thing planned out a week or 2 in advance. However, since we also want to get some traffic from some other sources, such as from a press release perhaps, or from some Google AdWords, it still makes sense to plan your activities out to make sure we have everything accounted for. So what is a good schedule? Well, for the pre-launch, try giving yourself 3 to 5 days to get everything set up. Later on, after you've done your first launch, you might be able to cut that down a day or two. For the launch itself, we normally say that a launch should last anywhere from 4 to 7 days using our strategy. You might hear from other people's strategies. They like to plan them out a week or two, or maybe even up to 30 days, and that's fine using their strategy, but our strategy is very powerful, and we try to make it so you don't have to run your launch for an entire month. So what do you use for your first one? I would just plan 5 days for your first launch, and we'll adjust from there. Now, again, the reason we give you the 4 to 7 day window is because some products might take a few extra days of a launch to really help it gain traction, depending on its competitiveness. But knowing the criteria that we gave you during the product selection process, a 5-day launch for your first product should be completely fine. And each day of the launch is actually pretty simple, since all the work is done ahead of time during this pre-launch process. For the post-launch, there's actually not a lot to do in it, but we'd like to consider it a 2 or 3 day activity where you'll wind things down slowly. And one of those things you might be doing during your post-launch is running a handful of Facebook offers to still get a few extra sales once your launch is over. So here's your action. Put together your pre-launch, launch, and post-launch dates and add them to your checklist. Don't worry if they're right or wrong, or if you feel that they just don't make sense. Just get them down using what we've given you above, and then we'll revisit them later after you completed the launch lessons in this module. That way you can go back, you understand much better what you need to do, and you can adjust that schedule accordingly. Back in Module 5, you already learned about the primary keywords for your product. So you need to select your primary or main keyword that you want to target and try to rank for in your product launch. This keyword should have a minimum monthly volume of 3,000 searches or more. And if you don't know what that is, you can use merchant words to get a good estimate of that. Now, if you're still unsure if you've selected a good primary keyword, just go back and watch the initial strategic keyword research video back in Module 5. And again, once you've selected your primary keyword, write that down on your checklist. Now, I'm not going to continually tell you to keep updating your checklist. I wanted to do it for these first couple of slides here, but throughout the rest of this lesson, definitely be sure to keep going through and updating your checklist. Next, let's create your Amazon storefront search URL. Now, that's a long fancy name for a special link that we'll be using on your Facebook offer ads, and that's specifically designed to increase your conversions and also increase your search rank. To find yours, do the following. Go to any product that you sell, and most likely you only have one right now. Click on your seller name, not your brand name, but your seller name. Then click on either the storefront link at the top of the screen or on the View All Products link at the bottom to see your actual storefront of products. Now that URL at the top is your Amazon storefront URL, not your Amazon storefront search URL, but the Amazon storefront URL. To get the search version of that, enter your primary keyword in the search box and then hit enter. The URL at the top of the screen is your Amazon storefront search URL that you will be using for your Facebook offer ads. Let's actually walk through creating one together right now. So here I am on Amazon, and I've just pulled up any product, and we're going to find the storefront search URL. So the first step is to click on the seller name, which is the sold by, which is iTronics. It's not the brand name up here. It's always the sold by. We'll click on that. And now to find their storefront, we can either click on the storefront link if they have one up here, or we can click on the View All Products down here. And usually I just go straight down here because not everyone has that storefront link. Now, this URL is their seller storefront link. However, we want the storefront search URL. So the last thing to do is actually search for the product that we are going to be trying to rank and launch for. So let's say that it's going to be this food cooking thermometer. I will type in food cooking thermometer, or whatever your primary search term is. Hit search. And now this URL is your Amazon storefront search URL. And that's the URL that you'll be using for your Facebook offer ads. Now, be sure to include that in your checklist that you are keeping track of everything on. As long as you follow our instructions for creating your Amazon promotion codes later on in this video, you shouldn't have any problems with your promotion code being set up incorrectly and therefore potentially putting your inventory at risk. However, it's always smart to put an additional control into place to mitigate something bad happening just in case you do make a mistake. And one thing we can do is we can update your max order quantity that's specific to every single product in your inventory to only 2 units. And what that means is that anyone going to your product looking to buy your product, the maximum they can order at one time is only 2 units. So if they did get a hold of a discount that you accidentally set up that gave them 99% off, the most they could possibly do is only get 2 units. And since we set these coupons up to only be available as 1 per person, they couldn't come back again and buy more products at that steep discount. Now, the way you update that is you go into the offer tab when you're editing your product inside of Seller Central. And you can also use Manage by Stats. They have a feature built in where you can quickly update the max order quantity as well. But here's what it looks like when you're inside of Seller Central. I'm actually on the offer tab for a product, and I have highlighted the field called max order quantity, and that's where you'd set it to 2. The next thing you'll want to do ahead of time is get your Amazon promotions or coupons set up, and I use those terms interchangeably. We're going to be creating 3 different promotions inside of Amazon. The first I'll call the large percentage off promotion, for lack of a better term, because this will be the biggest promotion that we're using, and it's also the most important. I would suggest starting off with a 75% off coupon, and these will use what are called single-use coupon codes that you create inside of Seller Central, and then we'll be uploading to Facebook so that people who take advantage of this offer will each get their own unique coupon code. And because it's a unique coupon code that only one person gets, that's why we feel comfortable increasing that percentage off to 75%. Now, we're also going to create, as a backup plan, a medium percentage off promotion, and let's say that's 50% off. And instead of having it where there are single-use coupon codes available for it, we're going to make it a group code, which is a 8-character discount code that anyone can use. It's the exact same one. Now, because people can share this and we can't completely stop them, that's why we're only making this a 50% off coupon. And hopefully, if you build in profit margins, should anything even go wrong and more people use that coupon, you're not actually losing money still with a 50% off coupon. Now, one thing to keep in mind, the reason we're doing this is that there may become a time that Facebook no longer allows us to upload the single-use coupon codes that we use during this launch process. But never fear, if that happens, if they take that capability away, we can still use the medium percentage off coupon, which is just using the exact same group code for the exact same process and still get great results. We're just creating this one as a backup plan just in case we need it. And lastly, we're going to create a small percentage off promotion, probably somewhere between 20 and 30%, that's up to you, that will actually allow to be shown on our Amazon product listing. And this is the only one of the 3 different coupons that we will check a box and say, yes, show it on our product listing. And the reason we do that is because our hopes are that as people come and visit our product, no matter where they're coming from, if they see this coupon right on the page, it will increase the chances of them buying the product and therefore increase our conversion rates, which is one of the main goals of running a launch like this. Now, since it's a 20 to 30% off coupon, we can also use this in the various social media posts that we'll be creating later on as well. There are some very important things to keep in mind when setting up your discounts in Amazon. You always want to make sure that you select 1 per customer. You want to make sure that you select the single-use claim code required for the single-use discount. That's only for the large 75% off coupon that we'll be creating, but on that one, make sure you select the option of single-use claim code required. You also want to make sure that these coupons are set up as exclusive for everyone on all 3 of these discounts. And then you also want to make sure that you extend the end date on the coupons to beyond today. I would set it up for perhaps maybe 2 or 3 weeks out in the future. The default is actually the exact same day that you set up the coupon. It'll end at midnight that night. And we're setting this up in advance for our launch that's been going on for at least a week or so. So make sure you extend that end date so these coupons don't go ahead and expire tomorrow on you. Now, one thing that's very important is that you want to make sure that the detail page display text box is not selected for the large or medium discounts, for those 75 or 50% off discounts. You only want that box checked for that 20 to 30% coupon where we want people to see it and therefore hopefully buy the product right there and then. Let's actually go through and create one of these together. So here I am inside of Seller Central, and I've gotten to the promotion screen by going to Advertising and Promotions. Now, before we actually create our very first promotion, we're going to have to tell Seller Central what products we're going to have this promotion on. And you do that first by going into the Manage Product Selection. And then we're going to select Product Selection Type, which is going to be ASIN, and then Create Product Selection. Now from here, we're going to enter in the ASIN of the product that we will be creating this discount for. So I have one right there. This is the olive oil sprayer, and you just give it a tracking ID. And you put that down here again, and then hit Submit. And that creates a product selection list right now. Now we can go back to create a promotion, and we're going to create a percentage off promotion. Now, some of these we'll leave as a default. So here's where we're going to tell the promotion which product this coupon is going to be good for. We can select all the products in our entire catalog, but we don't want to do that. Instead, we're going to go in and select the one we just created, olive oil sprayer. And then here's where we select the percentage off. The first one is going to be our large discount. We'll make that 75% off. And then here are the start dates and end dates. So I'm going to increase the end date and make this be at the end of the month, June 30th. And we're going to say that this one's going to be the Launch, Blitz, and Rank oil sprayer. And I'll copy that down to the tracking ID as well. Now down here, we want to make sure that this is going to be the single-use claim code. We also want to make sure that it says 1 redemption per customer, and that's already checked in for us. Already, we also have exclusive check for us. Now we need to expand this down here for the custom messaging. Now for this, there's nothing else we need to do. It already has the detail page display checkbox unselected. You just want to make sure that that is not selected. But I want to quickly review, make sure everything looks okay. Then I'll hit review again. Now it's alerting us and saying, hey, you're creating a promotion that's greater than 70%. Are you sure you want to do this? And yes, we do want to do that right now. But I will go down and kind of review everything, make sure everything's exactly the way I want it. And then I'm going to hit submit. Now, if we go and we manage our promotions, we actually won't be able to find that promotion because it takes 4 hours for these promotions to go live. That's why we want you to get these set up ahead of time. But I'm going to click here, and by default, it's showing us all of the active campaigns or promotions. If you want to see this one, we'll click on pending and then click on search. And there it is, the Launch, Blitz, and Rank oil sprayer campaign promotion. Now, later on, we'll need to come through and actually create all those one-time use coupon codes that are tied to this promotion. But for right now, that's all we need to do. We created the 75% off coupon. So let's go ahead and create the other 2 promotions that we need to create also, the 50% off and the 20 to 30% off. So I'm going to select create a promotion. We're going to go for another percentage off. And then I'm going to select this product again, olive oil sprayer. This time it's 50% off. I'm going to change the end date to be the end of the month. I'm going to select the internal description name that I want to have here. Now on this one, we're going to use a group claim code. And so what happens then is that it's automatically going to select again 1 redemption per coupon per customer. That's exactly what we want. And it's going to randomly give us a claim code right here. If we hit suggest, it's going to keep giving us random 8-character claim codes. Now, sometimes you may want to go out there and create a more easy to remember 8-character claim code so that if you want people to use this one and share it, that it's easy to do. But in this situation, we don't necessarily want to do that. We only want to make sure that the people who take us up on our Facebook offers use this code and don't share it. So I'm going to leave it as just one of these random claim codes right there. Now, also, we want to make sure it's left as exclusive, and then I'm going to have to expand the customized messaging, and this is very, very important. Now, it by default has the detailed page display text checked. That means if I were to create this, as soon as this promotion goes live, it's going to show up on our product page and anyone will see this and be able to use this. But for this one, I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to uncheck that box and then we're done with this coupon. I'll hit review. We don't get that warning this time because it's only 50% off. Now I'm just going to quickly glance through it. Everything looks good to me. And then I'm going to hit submit. Now, the last thing is we're going to create our third promotion, which will be, let's make it 25% off. So I create a new promotion. I'm going to select the olive oil sprayer. I want this one to be 25% off. I'm going to make it expire at the end of the month. I'm going to give it another name. We'll call this one number 3. This one's also going to be a group claim code. Now, if I wanted to, I could try to come up with a unique 8-character claim code that people would see and use. But you know what? I'm just going to go ahead with a random one for now. It doesn't really matter. They'll see it on there and Amazon will tell them the codes. All they need to do is copy it over when they want to use it. Again, this one is exclusive. And on this one, I'm going to leave the detailed page display text box checked. And everything else you can just leave as the standard text. It'll tell them exactly what they need to do. And then I'm going to do a review. And I'm also going to hit submit. And now that one is created. If we go to manage our promotions and look at pending, we'll see all 3 that we created here. And that's how you create your promotions for the launch that you'll be running. Now, again, we'll need to come back, and for the main 75% off coupon, we'll need to create a bunch of one-time use coupon codes or single-use coupon codes, but we'll do that later on once we're setting up those Facebook offers. Next, we're going to talk about setting up a Google AdWords ad to your listing on Amazon. However, this step is completely optional. It can actually be skipped if you don't want to do it. If you're not comfortable with running Google AdWords campaigns already, or you don't have a Google AdWords account, then you don't have to worry about this. This does not send a lot of traffic to your listing, and you won't really be affected negatively too much at all if you don't do this, which is why it's optional. We just like to include it because some people love AdWords and love sending traffic to their products from AdWords, and you can get some benefit from doing that. So if you want to give it a shot and do it, feel free to do that. And if so, here's how we set it up. First, I would only budget $5 a day for your campaign. That's an incredibly small budget on AdWords, but the reason for that is we don't want to send a bunch of traffic to our listing from AdWords. AdWords does not convert terribly well, so we don't want to take the risk of lowering the conversions too much on our product listing on Amazon. However, it would be nice to get a little bit of traffic from Google AdWords because Amazon seems to reward you when they see some of that traffic coming in for there. However, we just want a few clicks, so we'll budget $5 a day. Because we're only budgeting that much, you only need to target 1 or 2 exact match keywords. And I would target your primary keyword, plus pick one other one you think gets a decent amount of traffic. When you do that, I like using what AdWords calls a broad modifier. An example of that is to put the plus sign in front of each of your search terms. So if silicone spatula is the search that I want to advertise for, I would put a plus in front of each one of those. And what that basically means is that my ad will only show up when people do a search that includes both of those terms, and it doesn't matter where those terms are in the search term. So it could be, what is the best silicone spatula you can buy, or how many spatulas are made of silicone. As long as it has both those keywords in there, then your ad has a chance of showing up. And that's just how I've gotten the best results in the past. Now, the destination URL, it should actually be your Amazon storefront URL, not the storefront search URL. This is where you just click on your seller name on your product listing, and then you click on view all products, and right there is your storefront URL. It's not after you type in another search term and then click on it. It's just your Amazon storefront URL before you do that search. And that's what we found works best for Google AdWords campaigns during a product launch. Also, bid very low in your cost per click, because again, we don't really want a bunch of traffic, and we can always increase this later on if we're not getting any traffic. I would even suggest starting off at like around 25 cents per click. Now again, we're not necessarily looking for sales off of this. We're just looking to get a little bit of traffic. But if we're going to get a little bit of traffic, we still want it to be fairly relevant. So if you're already familiar with Google AdWords, or you want to go out and take a shot at it, go ahead and create your Google AdWords ad and have it set up so it starts on the first day of the launch. Now, if you're not already doing this, it's time to go out there and get some affordable, high converting traffic to your product on Amazon through Amazon sponsored product ads. We'll be talking about these a lot more in next week's module when we go over all types of paid traffic, but we can still get going for the sake of our launch. There are 2 types of campaigns you can set up. And the first one is an auto campaign. And it literally is that easy. It's an auto campaign that you turn on and Amazon takes care of the rest. All you do is tell them what daily budget you want, and I would suggest starting out with $5 a day. And you also tell them how much you're willing to bid per click when someone searches for your product and they find it on Amazon and click on it. I would suggest for that 25 cents as a good start. We want to start off fairly low and don't go crazy because we just want to get a little bit of traffic coming in from sponsored product ads during our launch. Now, the other type of campaign you can also set up and run at the exact same time is called a manual campaign. And here you actually tell Amazon the keywords that you want to target when customers are searching for products. So I would suggest starting off with 1 or 2 exact match keywords. I would use your primary keyword plus maybe 1 other relevant keyword. Again, I would budget and bid low. Only $5 to $10 a day for your overall budget on this campaign. And I'd start off with 25 to 50 cents max on your cost per click. You can always adjust these later on after the campaign starts. And even after the entire launch and blitz is over, you may want to keep these campaigns going because in general, they're some of the best traffic you can get for your products on Amazon. Now, let's actually go over and set up a few of these together. Here I am inside of Seller Central in the campaign menu, and how I get here is going to advertising and then campaign manager, and that brings us here. Now, the way to create your first campaign, and we'll do the auto campaign first, is you click on create campaign. And then you want to give your campaign a name. This is going to be auto campaign. I'm going to give it a daily budget of $5. I'm going to set this up. I'm going to let it start today, and I'm going to put a no end date. Just kind of let it go forever. I can always pause this anytime I want to, so there's no point in putting an end date. Then I'm going to select automatic targeting, continue the next step. And the only other thing we want to do here is I want to type in the product that we want to advertise. So we're going to go olive oil, hit search, and there is the olive oil sprayer. I'm going to hit select, and that product is now selected. Now I can give the ad group another name. It doesn't really matter what it is, but we'll just call this one the olive oil sprayer also. And then the default bid, again, I want to bid low. I'm going to go 25 cents. Now it's going to tell me the bid range it suggests between $32 and $1.93. These are actually pretty competitive, so they may be right, but I'm going to start off low. I can always adjust. And once we're done, we hit save and finish. And that's it for the auto campaign. Next, I'm going to create my manual campaign. So I click on create campaign. I'm going to call this one the manual campaign. And I think I'm going to give the olive oil sprayer in the name as well, so I know what product this campaign is for in case I have more than one product. I'm going to give this one a $10 a day budget, leave the dates open, then I'm going to select manual targeting and continue. And again, I'm going to type in the product that I want to search for. Olive oil, search. There it is, I select it. And then default bid, I'm going to be a little bit higher. I'm going to 50 cents. For the sake of what we're doing here for the launch, I can ignore the bid plus. It tells you what that is right there. It'll increase your bid up to 50% if there's a chance of having your ad show up at the very, very top of the screen. Because I'm trying to save money and I just want to get a little bit of traffic, I am not going to take that option. Now here's where I go ahead and I can either select some of the keywords they're telling me, or what I want to do is provide my own keywords. And I know that olive oil sprayer is the main keyword. And the second one is going to be just olive oil. And now I want my search type to be exact. I want to hit add these keywords. And before I do that, I want to check, make sure my default bid's 50 cents. Hit add these keywords. It put those in down here. Now my bids are 50 cents. It's suggesting something higher, but I'm going to leave them as is. And then I'm going to hit save and finish. And then we're done with both those campaigns and we're ready to go. Next, we're going to talk about creating and scheduling your very own press release for your product. Now, some people claim to get great results from press releases, and some other people don't get great results or simply don't know if they do because it's really hard to tell. Therefore, we've made this step optional. So if this is something you don't want to do or don't feel comfortable doing, we don't want it holding you up from running your launch. However, we do believe that it can offer some additional support and help make your launch even better. Now, don't be worried about this. It's actually very easy to get a press release done. And the easiest option is simply to go to Fiverr and have someone there write the press release and release it for you as well. You can easily get that done for 10 or 15 bucks. And if you don't know what to create the press release about, there are tons of topics that are out there, but the easiest is just announcing that you're launching a brand new product. That's a perfectly good reason for a press release. Now, in these press releases, you can link to your product on Amazon, and you also can link to some of their other brand assets as well, such as your website and social media accounts. I would try to schedule your press release to go out either shortly before your launch or on the first day of your launch. And if you're feeling really up to it, feel free to create multiple press releases and have one go out every single day of your launch. I do know some people that do that, and they swear they get great results by doing it. Now, if you want to use a real PR service, you can, but I don't believe it's worth the cost. It can cost anywhere from 40 to 50 bucks for a press release, sometimes up to $300 for one press release. And we just haven't seen the right rate of return on doing that. Now, do not stress about the content of these press releases. While they do need to look professional because they'll exist on the internet indefinitely, the goal really isn't to drive traffic, and you don't have to worry about making this the best press release in the entire world. It's just to provide a little diversity of links and traffic to your listing during the launch. The last thing we're going to talk about in this lesson is getting your social media content ready to go. Now, these are just some very, very basic posts, tweets, and pins, and there's no need to even go out there and boost them or pay for them to get any traffic. You just want to have these written and ready for the day one of your launch. For Facebook, you just want to create a simple post that has a direct link to your product on Amazon, along with you talking about the 20 to 30% promotion code that's available to everyone. On Twitter, it'll basically be the same thing. You want to prepare a tweet of a direct link to your product on Amazon, along with the 20 to 30% off promotion code as well. And then for Pinterest, you want to make a lifestyle photo as a pin and have it lead directly to your product on Amazon. And for Pinterest, there's no real need to mention the discount because it's just not as simple to do on Pinterest. Feel free to get creative and maybe even have a little fun with these. This is your way to speak to your audience and those people who have started to follow you on your social media accounts. So have a little fun and maybe even get a little bit of traffic over to your product on Amazon. This has been a pretty long lesson with a lot of content, so you may need to go back and watch it over again several times. However, when you're finally ready to start getting prepared for your launch, use this lesson and the Launch Blitz and Rank checklist located below this lesson to get everything ready and set up for your product launch. Now next, we still need to set up the most critical part of our entire launch, your Facebook offers. We're going to do that in the next lesson, and so head over there when you're ready, and I'll see you there. Welcome to the second part of the Launch Blitz and Rank pre-launch, creating your Facebook ads. And here's what we'll be covering in this lesson: what type of Facebook ads we'll be creating and why they're so powerful, how we'll be using these ads during our launch, how to prepare the content for your ads, both graphics and text, how to create the coupon codes we'll be using for the ads, and then how to create the ads themselves. In the previous lesson, you should have already downloaded and started using the Launch, Rank, and Blitz checklist. If you haven't, please do that now. And as you go through this lesson, you want to continue using the checklist to make sure that you record and track everything that you're doing. So let's learn about the most powerful Facebook ad available. The type of ad that we're going to be using is something called a Facebook offer ad. It's existed for years, but up until now, it's been almost completely ignored. Facebook has recently added some extremely powerful features to it with very little announcements to anyone. So only those of us who keep up on these types of things have really even heard about it. At a high level, a Facebook offer allows us to promote our product with the use of a coupon code to a very targeted group of Facebook users. But there's a lot more to them. Let's take a quick look at one. This is an example of an offer ad that a Facebook user might see. Now, it looks pretty similar to the normal Facebook ad, but the magic happens when a user clicks on this ad. This is what shows up when a Facebook member clicks on our ad and accepts our offer. It looks great, and it's a nice looking presentation of our offer to them, but the really cool thing is all the different features that are shown on the screen. First, and I've highlighted here, you'll see that this offer has actually been emailed to the Facebook member as soon as they clicked on the ad. So not only do we have their attention on Facebook, they now have an email sitting in their inbox with our offer information on it. Now, you don't get access to that email address, but that's okay because Facebook takes care of that for us. And no laughing at the email address that I used here. I had to do something funny to get it rich for this video. Next, you'll also notice that the coupon code, and this is a unique single-use coupon code, is included right here in their offer, and this is unique just for them, and it's also been emailed to them as well. Up above, you'll see a note of urgency. This offer is expiring at 9 p.m. today, and we control when these offers expire to make sure the members know they only have a limited amount of time to use this. Also, the Use Now button, when they click on that, that'll take them directly to our storefront search URL that we've set up and are specifically using to increase sales, conversions, and ranking. And then lastly, we get some other nice little text areas down here to share any information that we want. I choose to put information in there that makes the people feel like this is a legitimate offer that they should have a lot of faith in. For example, I say free shipping for Amazon Prime customers, 1 per customer and employees not eligible. Coupon should be used within 24 hours due to limited quantities being available. Again, a little bit more urgency there. And I'm also letting them know that, like other offers for other companies, it's 1 per customer and our employees are not eligible for that. And if you're curious as to what the email looks like, here's a screenshot of an actual email from this offer that I created that came to me. Again, it shows my graphic of the product, talks a little bit about the product, tells them the coupon code they're using. It's listed twice because of a little trick that we have incorporated into our offers to make sure that people get these offers on Facebook and they also get them into their email box. So I'll talk about that a little more when we're setting this up, but they'll have the same coupon code listed twice. And then it also talks about when the offer is expiring, some details of it, and then those terms and conditions once again. Let's quickly recap what we just saw. These ads are highly targeted. They automatically send emails to the Facebook member with the details of your offer. It gives them their coupon code both on the screen and in the email. It tells them when the offer is expiring, so there's a sense of urgency. It gives them a direct link to anywhere we want, but we're using our super special storefront search URL, and that allows them to buy our product from the link we want them to. And it even gives them any other special details about the offer to make it sound even more authentic and urgent. So here's how we're using these ads during our launch. We'll be creating 1 Facebook offer ad for each day of your launch. So if you have a 5-day launch, you'll create 5 different ads. The goal is for these ads to hand out 20 coupons per day and to have those purchasers use the Amazon storefront search URL when they're making their purchase. This will increase traffic, sales, conversions, and ultimately your search rank, which then helps increase your sales. You should see the search rank increases take place around the 4th or 5th day. This can vary. It can be a few days earlier, and it also can take a few days later, depending upon so many other factors on Amazon. The important thing is, if you don't see any increases in the first 1, 2, 3, or 4th day, do not worry about that. That's totally normal. The ranking increases come later. It's extremely important to keep this in mind. The number of people actually using the coupons that you're handing out and completing the purchase will be far less than the number of coupons handed out. This is incredibly frustrating, but it's a reality of how people behave, and we just have to accept it and plan accordingly. And most importantly, try not to get frustrated. So if you hand out 20 coupons, you may only notice 1 or 2 sales. This is completely normal, and don't worry about that. The actual percentage of coupons redeemed can be anywhere from 10 to 70%. That is a huge range, but it's a reality. I'm just trying to be realistic so you don't freak out if you do not see all these sales coming in right away. It's going to completely depend upon the offer you're presenting in front of them. The higher the percentage off, the better, of course. Your audience also are these people that are more prone to shop on Amazon and use coupons. And then the value and popularity of your product. A more popular product will be more likely to have people use the coupon, and a product that's more expensive that you're selling for much, much cheaper will also be more likely. So keep these things in mind when you're watching your sales come in. Now, here's a really cool thing though. Even if very few people use your coupons, almost every single member who's used this strategy has still seen significant search rank increases. It's the reason we designed this process, tested it out, and used that special storefront search URL. You still get ranking increases even if you don't see very many sales come in. So how can you tell though if people are using your coupon? It's a great question and doesn't have an easy answer. There is no easy way inside of Seller Central to see who's using the coupons, and the data that we do have is delayed by a few days. But here's how you can do it, and there's 2 different ways. You look inside of Seller Central under the transaction view under reports, payments, and then look for the discount amounts in the total promotional rebate section. So on your main screen, you'll see the dollar amount of payments you have due to you. You click on that and drill down to payments and then transaction view, and you'll see all the transactions for your sales come in, and there'll be a column called total promotional rebates that you can see, and that will indicate when someone's got a large discount on a sale. The other way is to run the promotions report under the reports menu, under the fulfillment section, and then under the sales section. But then again, remember, these reports are all delayed by several days, and you won't be able to see that coming in until at least a few days after that sale's been made. Here's a screenshot of the first report I'm talking about. This is under reports, then sales, and then promotions on the left-hand side. And then you put in the time frame and click on generate report, and it'll tell you all the sales that had discounts on them. Now, if you want to look at your transaction screen, this is a screenshot of that. So I go to the payments report, the transaction review, I filter by order payment and then update it, and that's going to show me all of the sales that have taken place in that time period as well. And I've highlighted the one sale that we've had that has a promotional rebate. And these should be pretty easy to see. If you're offering 75% off, you'll see a really large promotional rebate show up in that column. Now we're finally to the part where we're going to learn how to create our actual ads. And the first part of it we need to create is the ad graphic. So we want to create a graphic that has preferred dimensions of 1200 by 628. It doesn't have to be exactly that, but those are the ones that work perfectly for offer ads. It doesn't have to be a fancy type of ad at all. It can simply be a picture of your product plus some basic text on it, and I'll show you what I mean. I also like to add the word Prime on there because Amazon shoppers are used to seeing that, and then I also put the 5-star rating graphic on it. If you're handy with graphics and you want to do this yourself, any basic graphics application can be used. However, the easiest option is to simply hire someone on Fiverr to do it for you. They can do this very affordably and very quick, and all you need to do is give them some basic instructions and they'll have their ad created very quickly. Now, feel free to experiment once you've done your first graphic in your first launch. Lifestyle graphics and even videos can be used in these type of Facebook ads, so feel free to try some different things later on. Now let's take a quick look at a graphic that I created. Here's one right here. I created this myself while putting this together. I simply put in a product that's not my product. I found it on Amazon. I put that picture there. I have the Prime logo at the lower left-hand corner. I have the 5-star graphics. Then I like putting in the original price of the product in red, slashed out, and then the new price of the product that they can use with the coupon. And in this situation, it's a 75% off discount. And then I found some free, completely shareable, so there's no like usage rights limitations to it. I found that little sale badge and I copied it in here as well. So if I can do this, anyone can do it, but by all means, feel free to go out there and have people at Fiverr do it. They can do it a lot better than this and much more quickly as well. So now we need to talk about preparing the content for your ads, the ad copy, and these are all the words that'll show up in your ad. So I'm going to give you some examples for your ad copy, but these are, good examples, but absolutely be sure you rewrite them in your own voice. We don't want everyone using the exact same ad copy on all their Facebook offers. So for the URL, you're going to want to use your storefront URL, and you should have that recorded in your checklist. For the title, you want to say something similar to 75% off on Amazon today with this exclusive coupon. And then you have a place to put a description. Now, this is a very light description I have. Get 75% off plus free shipping on our top-rated and best-selling Super Spatula. Limited quantities available. You actually have, I believe, around 240 characters to use, so feel free to use all of that and put more in than what I have done here. And then I know many people don't read the terms and conditions, but I always like taking advantage of that. For example, I mentioned free shipping, but that's really only for Amazon Prime customers. So I want to make sure that's noted in the terms and conditions. And then I talk about how it's only one coupon per customer, employees are not eligible, and I want them to see again that they should be using this coupon within 24 hours. Even though it's not really going to expire in 24 hours, I want to try to get them to use this coupon as soon as possible. Here's a tip that I like to use. I like to type out all this information into Notepad. That's what I use on my computer, but you can use any similar program on your computer. That way, if you have it all located in one Notepad, you can easily copy and paste this each time that you're making another ad. Because each of our ads running on each of the 5 days is exactly the same, so there's no point in retyping all that in. It's much more simpler just to copy it, paste when you're creating those ads to save yourself some time. The next thing we want to do is create the coupon codes that we'll be using on each one of our Facebook offer ads. Now, you already created your Amazon promotions earlier, so now it's time to go back in and then create the single-use coupons, which are also called claim codes. And that way you only do it for your large 75% off offer that you'll be using in your Facebook offers. The other 2 promotions that we set up don't have single-use coupons, just that one. So we select that promotion, and remember, if you recently set it up, it may not be active yet, so you may need to filter to your pending promotions. Then you'll select Manage Claim Codes. You'll create one group of 20 claim codes to use each day of your launch. And the reason we're doing 20 is because Facebook has a minimum of 20 coupon codes that when you're uploading coupon codes into their offers, you have to have at least 20 to upload, otherwise you can't run it. So that's why we use the minimum of 20. Then you'll want to download the little file that contains all those claim codes and save that for later. Let's actually go in and do this together. So here I am inside of Seller Central, and I went into the Advertising and Promotions menu, and then I clicked on Manage My Promotions, but this one didn't pull up because it's still in a pending status. And so I had to do a search for promotion status, pending, and search, and then it found this one right here because I just set this up for the sake of this test. So we're going to go right into it. And then here is the Manage Claim Codes button I was talking about. And now we're going to create our claim codes. So I like to call these just day 1. I'm going to create 20 and hit create. Then we'll go in and do day 2, create 20 again, and so forth. And I'll just quickly create all these. All right, so now I've created all of the claim codes here. I'm going to refresh because this one's still being generated. Usually takes, a few seconds to create these coupons. There we go. Now all 5 of these have been created. All I need to do now is just download these and save these in. Now we're ready to log into Facebook and actually create the ad. You log into what's called the Business Manager on Facebook, and I've shown you my own menu on the right-hand side where your Business Manager should be located. Once we get into the Business Manager, you'll click on Ads Manager to create the ads. Now, if you don't have a Business Manager account, that's no problem. Just go to business.facebook.com to set one up and it'll walk you through the process. So speaking of walking through the process, let's go ahead and create an ad together. So here I am logged into my Ads Manager under my Facebook Business Manager account. And in order to create our campaign, I can either click Create Ad here or Create Campaign. Either one will do the same thing. We'll just do the Create Campaign for now. Now, Facebook is going to ask us to choose our marketing objective, and Facebook is just awesome. They have so many different ways to advertise. I wish we had time to go through all these. I honestly don't know every single one. I've tried out most of them, but there's a few that I haven't, and I'm really curious to do that, but that's for another time. So in order to create an offer ad, we're going to start by clicking on Traffic. That's where we create the offer ad. It's underneath this one. So we'll click on Traffic. And then we need to give our campaign a name. And since we're going to be creating one campaign for each day of our launch, let's call it that. So launch campaign day 1. And then we'll hit continue. Now, over on the left-hand side, you'll see they're walking us through the whole creation process of the ad. So the way the hierarchy is on Facebook and under many advertising platforms is you have one single campaign, and then under that campaign, you can have multiple ad sets. And then under those ad sets, you can have ads. So you don't need to really even understand all of that. I'm going to walk you through how to create this, and it'll be pretty simple to do. So now that we've created the campaign, it's time to create our ad set. Now we can also give this a name. So let's say that this is going to be ad set for day 1. Now the most important thing to remember on this is that we need to create an offer. And by default, you'll see offers listed here. It's turned off. We want to turn that on. And as soon as we do that, we now have the ability to create an offer. Next, we'll actually create our offer by clicking on the Create Offer button. But before I do that, you want to make sure that you have the right page selected that you'll be creating the offer on. So hopefully earlier you created a Facebook page for your business like Rich Henderson suggested. So if you did that, that's the page you want to make sure is selected here. Now we'll click Create Offer, and this is where we enter in all of the offer information. Luckily, I have all that stored in my notepad, so let me pull that up right now. So now all that I need to do is copy and paste the information over into the offer. First is the title. Then there are the details for it, or sometimes I consider this the description for it. Now I'm going to skip the end date and end time for now because I want to finish copying everything over first, and we'll come back to that. So there's the storefront URL that goes into the online offer URL section. And the last thing we're going to put in are the terms and conditions. So I have those also over here. There we go. So now everything's copied over from the ad copy that we wrote. The next thing we need to do is tell Facebook when the offer expires. Now you'll notice there's only an end date and an end time. There is no start date and start time. These offers actually go live as soon as you create them, but don't worry about that because even though this offer will technically be active, our ads aren't going to run until the day we want them to, so no one can find these offers. They only exist from a link inside the ad, and people can't really find them until you start running your ads. So all we need to do is figure out the end date and end time. And remember, we want to create one campaign with one offer each day of the launch. So if I want to start our launch, let's say that it's going to be next Monday on June 5th, then I want this first offer to expire that evening on June 5th. And I'll tell you the way we do that. So first, I'm going to go down there and select June 5th as the date we want it to end. And the time, instead of midnight, I like to make mine expire earlier. And here's why. The default is midnight. However, Facebook is going to give all the people who've selected our offer a reminder about an hour before that offer expires that they have an offer in their offer area and that they haven't used it yet. But if it's midnight, a lot of people will be asleep. So I want them to get that notification earlier. And so the time that we found to be the best for this is 9 p.m. Central. And I mentioned Central because we're selling, where I'm selling, all across the United States. So at 9 p.m. Central, most people are still awake and they're going to get this notification beforehand. On the East Coast, it's 10 p.m. Central, so most people are still awake there too, and they'll get a notification before they go to bed. And then on the West Coast, it's going to be around 7 p.m. That's a little earlier than I would normally like to have them get this notification, have the offer end. But we're trying to sell across the entire United States, so it's kind of a give and take. I would still be okay with that. So I choose 9 p.m. Central. Of course, you can feel free to experiment with these, but this is just what we're suggesting to put in as the end date and end time for your offer. So this is going to be ending 9 p.m. on the first day of our launch, which is going to be Monday, June 5th. The next thing we need to change is a really cool thing that we found almost by accident. If you look at where people can redeem, we have the options of online, which means that you're just selling the product online like we are, in store if you have a brick and mortar store, or both. Now, even though we're only selling our product online, we're going to click the both, and I'll show you why. Look in the upper right-hand corner and notice that it doesn't have anything in this right-hand side. When I click the both, that's when the in-store email example pops up. We found out that by selecting both, so that we tell people that we're online and in a store, that's what triggers Facebook to send an email to the members who select our offer. That's an awesome thing that we want to take advantage of, so always select both so they get a notification in their Facebook account and they get an email. Now, also down here, we have the option of selecting no promo code, which means that we're simply going to let them get the offer without even entering a coupon. We could use one code, which I'm going to show you how to do later on. But for what we're doing here, we want to do the unique codes. So we select that, and that's where we get the option of uploading the one-time coupon codes that we've already created. We're going to leave it as custom for a custom type code. And then you have to upload this in the format that Facebook asks you to. And it's very simple. You simply select download the CVS template, and it's going to give you a spreadsheet that you can put these codes into. Now, before you click the download CSV template, be sure that you have the both option selected up here and the unique codes option selected here. Otherwise, you get the wrong template and you won't have all the columns that you need. But once you've done that, select the button and download the template. Here's the template that I downloaded. And I'm going to, let's see, open these columns a little bit so you can see what they say. There's actually two columns then where we're going to paste in the promo codes. The first one is for the online promo codes, but we also want to duplicate and enter the exact same promo codes on the in-store promo codes section as well. Luckily, I have my promo codes saved that we created a lesson earlier. So we're going to go over here and pull those up now. There are the promo codes. This is for day one of the launch. So you simply open up that file that we downloaded for your day one launch, individual single-use coupon codes, copy those, and we'll go over here and we paste them into the first column and then into the second column, making sure that it's the exact same ones. Now, the only thing we need to do is save this file into a location that we remember, because we're going to be uploading that in just a second. So now we're back to our ad here, and I'm going to upload the file that we just created. I navigate it to where it's at. You select it and hit open. And it just uploaded all 20 codes. So now the next thing we need to do is select how many offers are available. And again, it's 20. That's what we just uploaded. So you enter that here. And then down here, we do have the option of preventing people from sharing this offer, but I actually want people to share this offer because every time they do that and someone else takes us up on the offer, I don't pay for that click in the ad. It's like a free click of someone getting our offer. So I do not check that box and I will let them share this offer. Now, when we get to the point where we're showing you how to create the same offer, but with a single group code that everyone shares, that's when I'll actually go out there and unselect that. But for now, I'm going to let people share this offer. Now, the next thing we need to do, we've entered in everything else, is we simply hit create to create this offer, and we'll go back to creating the rest of our ad. So I'm back in my ad set now, and we've created our offer. We can see it right here. And now we're going to scroll down and continue creating the rest of our ad. The first thing we need to do is define the audience as to who we want to see these ads. Now, Facebook is unbelievable, has so many different targeting capabilities that you can really narrow down your audience to just the right people that you want to see buy your product. However, we don't really care about that as much. We're not trying to sell our products for a profit here. There are entire courses on Facebook advertising, but those really show you how to create Facebook ads that are profitable. For these ads, we're giving these off at 75% off. The only thing we care about is that we find people that are interested in our products enough that when they see that 75% off, they want to go out there and get that offer and take us up on it, because that's what's going to move us up in the search rankings. Don't get me wrong. The more they are in our niche and like our product, the better. But I don't want anyone to get overwhelmed to really trying to narrow down their audience to a very minute detail. Now, let's do a little bit of narrowing down, though, to increase the chances that the people that see this ad will want to take us up on our offer. So first, we can narrow this down to the country we want to show the product ad in. I'm in the United States, so that's where I'm going to show it in. If you're in another country, you'll select that country. You can also narrow down the age group. Now, if you know your products are more likely to be bought by younger people, then you can definitely lower the age group, or the same for older people as well. I'm going to leave it at the default of 18 to 65 plus. The same thing is true for genders. If you know women or men buy your product more predominantly than the other, then by all means try that out. But for now, I'm going to leave it open to both. Now, here is where we get into the more detailed targeting. This is where Facebook allows you to filter your audience by different interests that they have. So if you notice up here in the right-hand corner, our potential reach right now is 196 million people, because we really haven't narrowed it down other than saying 18 to 65-year-olds living in the United States. So we're going to narrow this down by starting off to people who like Amazon.com. So we type in Amazon.com, and you'll notice when you enter anything here, it's going to show you a lot of different categories: interests, employers, schools, another employers, more a fashion interest, different countries' interests. But really, the first one we want is the main Amazon.com that is an interest. And we select that. So now we're narrowing down our group to people who only like Amazon.com. And it doesn't mean that they've went out there and selected and said, yes, we like Amazon.com. Facebook knows a lot about their customers, and they know the people who've clicked on Amazon ads in the past. And that's really how they determine people who like Amazon.com. And if you notice, we've went from 196 million people to only 34 million people, still a little bigger than I'd like. So we're going to narrow this down even further. And we do that by selecting the narrow audience, and it's going to create another interest box just like this one. And so since I'm going to be selling a silicone spatula, I want people who are interested in cooking. And so I see cooking and the interest. I'm going to select that. And it's narrowed it down again to 23 million people. And we could continue doing this. And if you know your audience very well, feel free to continue adding in other layers of interest to narrow that down. But I like to make sure I have about 1 million or 2 million people at least who are going to see this ad. Anything less than that, and you're really narrowing down your audience even more, where you're trying to find people to buy your product for a profit. But again, that's not the goal here. So I'm going to go forward with just this. Even though it's 23 million people, that's totally fine for the launch. You can even have more or a little less, but don't stress out about targeting any more than just people who shop on Amazon and the high level category for your product. So let's go down even further. The next thing is called placements. And this is just where your ad's going to show up. Is it going to show up on the desktop? Is it going to show up on a phone or a tablet? Again, I like being really lazy for this, and I know Facebook is really, really good at this. So I'm going to leave it as automatic placements. But again, if you know your audience is young, for example, and they're always on the phones, you might want to try to edit the placements and select mobile phone only. But for me, I'm going to leave it as automatic. Now let's get down and talk about budget and schedule. Now, one of the things that's going to be a little confusing and tricky is syncing up the schedule for our ad with the end time and date for our offer. The two really aren't tied together and they don't necessarily work very closely together, so we have to just make it work the best way that we can. If you think about it, we know that we want our offer to end at 9 p.m. each day that we're running our launch. So that means we'd want our ads to end at 9 p.m. that day as well. However, Facebook has a limitation that you have to have an ad scheduled to run for at least 24 hours. So with that in mind, we're just going to have our ad start at 9 p.m. the night before we're actually kicking off the launch for that day. And it's totally fine if we get a few sales in that night before. It's going to make everything work much smoother. So I'll show you how to do that. Instead of running an ad continuously starting today, we're going to set a start and end date. And remember, we're starting our launch hypothetically on June the 5th. So I'm going to work backwards. That means that I want the end to be on June the 5th at 9 p.m. So I'm going to change that here. Now you'll see that if I attempt to have the ad campaign start on June the 5th that morning, I'm going to get an error because we need to have the ads that run for 24 hours. Even if I had this run at, let's say, 6:27 a.m., that still is less than 24 hours. So instead, let's go back and let's change this to June 4th, and we'll have it start at 9 p.m. that night. And then there's no problems. It says that our ads are going to run for 1 day. You'll spend no more than $20 for that day. And we can even change that. We're going to change that down to, let's say, $10 for a daily budget. How's that for a launch budget? But trust me, this should work. If it doesn't, we'll adjust and increase the budget. Let's start with a $10 daily budget. We're going to have it kick off the night before our actual launch at 9 p.m. and end 9 p.m. when our offer is also ending. Now, for our future campaigns, we're going to set them up just 1 day in advance. The next one will start at June 5th at 9 p.m. and end on June 6th, 9 p.m., and so forth until we have all 5 of these set up and scheduled to go. Now let's continue on down here and set up the rest of our campaign. Now, I used to use automatic bidding, and in general, when you're trying to make a profit off your ads, that can work pretty well because Facebook will optimize the clicks for you. However, I found that if I go in and manually select a much lower maximum cost per click, chances are I can usually get a much cheaper click. I'm even going to suggest we all start off with a 40-cent max per click bid. Now, you may not get traffic at this. I'm suggesting this because I found this works for me. If you find after 3 or 4 hours of your campaign running, you're not getting very many clicks, you can increase this, but I would try to save yourself some money. And what happens is you also get more clicks because when you divide your $10 budget up by 40 cents per click, you get many more people clicking on it. And so that's what I was just starting out, manual and 40 cents per click. Another thing that I like to do is under delivery type, I click more options and I click accelerated. And what happens is that it's going to show your ad much quicker throughout the day, and hopefully you'll get more sales and more clicks even before the day is over. This is just one of the little tricks we found that works. If this doesn't work for you, feel free to go ahead and click standard. And what that means is that Facebook will try to spread out that $10 all throughout the day, but I'd rather get those sales in quicker rather than later. Now, the last thing to do is simply select continue, and we'll actually go out there and create the ad that'll be shown. Now, the first thing I like to do is change the name from the default name over to something that makes more sense, such as our launch day 1 ad. Under the format, we'll leave it as single. Again, there's a lot of really cool things you could do here with carousel ads where you show multiple images in the ad, a video, and even a slideshow, but we're going to keep this simple because it works. We're going to use a single image. And then down here, we want to select our own image for this ad. So we're going to go out there and navigate to the ad that we had created earlier. So we select that ad and hit open. Now it's going to actually add that image along with the other one that it selected by default. So I'm going to click the X and delete any other images out there so it's just the ad that we have selected. And let's scroll down a little bit. So now we see our ad with a nice graphic there. It's pulled in the title from our offer, 70% off Amazon today with exclusive coupon. You notice we don't have any dates in our ad copy or in our image. That way we can simply make this process easier and cut and paste and copy everything for each ad on each launch day. The only thing that's not over here is the detail text from our offer. So I need to copy that and type it in over here from our notepad. There it is there. It's going to update and show it over here. I fully realize that this text is about resistance and exercise bands, not for the product here, but you get the idea. You would change this to match up to what the product is you're selling. But at that point, all we need to do is place the order. And then we have our ad and our offer created for day 1 of our launch campaign. What you need to do next is create day 2, day 3, day 4, and day 5. And the only thing you'll change is setting the offer date 1 day further and ahead when it's going to expire. And then you also want to make sure that the start and end dates for your ad sets are also 1 day ahead of time. So you have, at the end of the day, at the end of this process, you'll have all 5 campaigns set up, 1 for each day and ready to go well in advance. Congratulations, because you now know how to create every single thing that you need in order to run a successful product launch. With that said, let's do just a little bit of contingency planning. So what if for some reason Facebook decides that they no longer want to support the ability to upload and use single-use coupon codes? They're still working today for us and most other people, but we've heard some people say that Facebook has been talking about removing that ability. Or maybe if you're watching this right now, you might be one of those people who doesn't have the ability to do that. Does that mean that you can't run a launch and get the results from it? Absolutely not. We're still completely fine. Instead of using that aggressive 75% offer that we created, we'll then use the 50% off offer that we also created that uses instead a group discount code instead of those single-use coupon codes. That's the entire reason we created that in the first place. We were thinking ahead and wanted to have that available to you in case something happens and you need to fall back to that type of promo. Now, you will need to update the ad copy and your ad image to reflect a 50% off discount instead. But other than that, everything else is exactly the same except for the following. When you're creating your Facebook offer, you want to change the type of promo code to one code instead of unique codes. Then you'll need to enter that single discount code, and it's always going to be an 8-character code, in the online promo code spot and also the custom code spot. And then the last thing, you will want to check the prevent people from sharing this offer box. Now, they can still, of course, manually tell people what that code is, but that's why we chose to have an 8-character random code that makes it a little bit more difficult. But keep in mind, a 50% off offer isn't really considered a very risky offer. As a matter of fact, most sellers who sell products on Amazon probably still break even or make a little bit of money with the 50% off offer. It's not that they have that much of a profit margin, but when you discount a product that way, all of Amazon's fees, or that most of Amazon's fees, are actually discounted as well, so you don't pay Amazon as much either. And that's why they're usually still at least break even, if not profitable. Now, since we also have the max order quantity set to 2, the chances are very minimal that too many people will share that offer and buy out all of your products. But if you're still concerned, there's one more thing you can do. You can always reserve some of your inventory ahead of time so that Amazon holds it back and doesn't make it available for sale. We will be creating and placing a video in the weekly calls and supplementary lesson spot to show how that's done, but it's not really urgent right now. If you feel like you need to do that, message us in the Facebook community, create a post out there, and we'll definitely show you how it's done, but we'll have that out there very shortly. However, the important thing is don't be too concerned about it because the chances of anything happening are very unlikely. Now, one more thing before you launch. Since the goal of a successful product launch is to increase your keyword search ranking, which will increase your sales, you'll want to track your keyword search positions before, during, and after the launch. So before you kick off your launch, be sure to perform a search for your product on Amazon using your primary keyword and track exactly where you're at. Then throughout the launch each day, you also want to track where you show up and how you improve in the search rankings. And remember, you won't really see much improvement until that 4th or 5th day. You also want to continue to track your keyword rankings throughout the post-launch activities because that's where you'll see the most movement. Now, if you want to make things really easy, be sure to sign up for Managed by Stats, which is free with your ASM 7 purchase, and it'll do it automatically for you. So go ahead and get that set up ahead of time. So now it's time to take action. If you're ready to perform your launch, go ahead and get the ad copy and images created to run your launch. Then also create your single-use coupon codes, create your 5 daily Facebook offer ads, and then check your keyword search ranking to prepare to track it daily. Now in the next lesson, we're going to show you exactly what a launch looks like, and I think you'll find it's pretty easy now that all the hard work is done setting everything up. So I'll see you in that next lesson. Welcome to the next lesson, the actual launch for your Launch, Blitz, and Rank. And here's what we're going to be going over. We're going to make sure you have everything ready to go. We'll go through your daily launch activities, and then we'll show you how to check your Facebook ads performance. Once you're ready to execute the launch, there are several things you need to check to make sure everything is in place. The night before, you'll want to review every single thing on your launch checklist just to make sure everything is ready. Now, for some of the more critical items, you want to check those in more detail. For example, Amazon sponsored ads. You want to make sure that all of them are active and working as planned. And one idea is to ask someone to test out your discount codes by simply adding your product to their cart on Amazon and then applying the discount code to make sure it gives them the discount that you would expect. Now, they don't actually have to buy it. They can cancel out before doing that, but this is a real simple way to make sure that your discounts are in place and working for the normal buyer. You also want to make sure that the more critical attributes are all set correctly, such as, do you have it set for 1 per customer? Is the single-use claim code required for the single-use discount? Are they set to be exclusive? And more importantly, is the detail page display text not selected for your large or medium discounts? And those are the 50 to 75% off discounts. You don't want those showing up on your product detail page, so absolutely make sure that that checkbox is not checked. There are also a couple things you want to check on your Facebook ads. Are they all approved and scheduled to run on the right dates and times? And does your ad show the Get Your Code button as shown on the right-hand side, which indicates that you've uploaded your single-use coupons correctly? Now, to see that, I'm going to give you a tip in a few slides here that'll show you how to preview your ad inside of Facebook and see the offer exactly as a Facebook user would. Now let's go over your daily launch activities. There really isn't a lot to do each day of the launch because we spent so much time getting everything set up and prepared ahead of time. However, there are a few things you want to do periodically throughout the day. So on launch day, the very first day of your launch, in the morning you want to turn on your Google AdWords and make sure they're running. You want to make each of your social media posts. And then you want to watch your product sales early in the morning to make sure that nothing is going wrong, such as you accidentally having one of your large promotions show up on your product detail page. If you see a huge spike in sales, like 50 or 100 sales that you aren't expecting, that's a sign that you want to go and check it. And also be sure in the morning to check and document your search and sales ranking because we will be tracking that throughout and after the launch. Then periodically throughout the day, maybe 3 or 4 times, you want to monitor your Facebook offer to see if all the coupons have been claimed. If so, then you want to be sure to go in and turn off your Facebook ad for that day. Customers can get upset if they click on your ad and then they get to it and all the coupons are already gone. I know it's a bit frustrating that the Facebook ad isn't directly tied to the Facebook offer to know when those offers have all been claimed, but that's what we have to deal with. So we have to manually check this just a couple times throughout the day. If you get later on in the day and you see that most of your offers have been used, then you want to check it more often, or even just go ahead and turn off your Facebook ad when you get close to it. Also, you'll want to check and make sure that your Facebook ad is getting enough traffic. I'd probably do this to mid to late morning, and we'll have more on this a little bit later. Then finally, you want to monitor your Facebook comments and messages throughout the day to see if any of your Facebook fans are having any coupon issues. Now, the remaining days of your launch will be exactly the same. First thing in the morning, you might want to make any additional social media posts kind of talking up your product or your launch. And then you want to check and document your search and sales ranking each morning. Then periodically throughout the day, monitor your Facebook offer to see if all the coupons have been claimed. Once they have, be sure to turn off your Facebook ad. Check and make sure that your Facebook ad is getting enough traffic, and then monitor your Facebook comments and messages for any coupon issues. Now let's talk a little bit more about checking your Facebook ads. Since Facebook ads are driving the majority of our sales and traffic for our launch, it's important to check them to make sure they're working as expected each day and then update if necessary. While there are a lot of different factors that go into a Facebook ad's performance, I'm going to walk through some common scenarios on what to look for. Also, keep in mind that Facebook's ad data is delayed several hours, so you need to let them run for a bit before we can make any decisions. Now, I'm going to walk through the scenarios right here, but I'm going to show you how to log into your Facebook ads account and look for these things after this. So if you're noticing that your ad is not getting enough impressions, chances are your max C per C or your cost per click is too low and you need to increase that. If you do that, you might also want to increase your budget because if you're paying more per click, you might need more than just $10 or $20 a day that you've budgeted. Now, if you are getting impressions, so it shows that your ad is being shown to people, but very few people are clicking on it, then either your ad itself, the image or the ad copy you have written in it, or the offer, the percentage off, or maybe even the product itself is just not appealing enough to people. And yes, it really can be any of these. There is no one thing that tells us why people don't do something. So the first thing I would do is I would start by increasing the percentage off. Please note that you will need to create a new campaign in Facebook and also might need to create a new Amazon promotion in order to do this. Now, if this doesn't seem to help, so it wasn't just the percentage off, I would give it a couple hours, by the way, to test this out. You may want to look at creating a completely new ad with a better image and ad copy. Now, if you notice you are getting clicks, but very few people are getting the offer, and by the way, you'll need to check and see how many coupons are being redeemed, and I'm going to show you how to do that very shortly. But if you notice that, so the ad is getting their attention, but when they get to the offer, they're not actually clicking on the Get Coupon button because that's not appealing to them. So in that situation, I would consider again increasing the percentage off and creating a new ad, which again might require you to create a new Amazon promotion as well. Now, if you do see the offers are being redeemed in Facebook, so your ads are being shown, people are clicking on it, people are getting the coupon, but you're not actually seeing the sales inside of Amazon, well, this is the absolute most common scenario, and there's no reason at all to freak out about it. If people are doing that and you're just not seeing the sales, don't worry. Unless your offer is an unbelievable deal, like think 90% or higher, the majority of people will click and get the coupon code, but they're either going to wait till later on to actually make the purchase, or they may decide not to use it all because they're just not quite sure if that offer is worth it to them. Again, this is completely okay, and the actual rate of the coupons being used will be very low. Again, don't freak out about that. Some people also end up buying your product without even using the coupon code. Not everyone is aware of how coupons work on Amazon. They may see your ad, they like it, they see your product, they like it, they think the price is a good price. They may just end up buying it because they already think it's on sale the way it is. That's completely common, and there's no way of knowing this for sure. Now, our recommendation if you see this happening though, where people are getting the coupons, but you don't see a lot of sales, simply wait until the next day to see if you did have more sales come in than normal that night, and if so, I would keep using the current offer. Now, if you only got 1 or 2 additional sales the previous day then you may want to consider making a much better offer and recreating the ad. So let's log back into our Facebook ads account so I can show you how to check these things and also see how many comments are being laid and how many coupons have been redeemed. So here I am back in my Facebook Ads Manager, and I'm going to show you how to do several things in this short little walkthrough. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to show you how to check and make sure that your ad is actually running and getting impressions, so it's being shown to people. And then we'll also show you how you can tell if people are reacting to your ad by clicking on it. Then after that, I'm also going to show you how you can go in and see the actual offer that shows up to your Facebook members. That way you can tell whether or not the ad is actually having the coupons redeemed, and if you've used up all those coupons and need to turn off your ad, and also tell whether or not people are leaving comments below that ad. So the first thing you want to do is go in and make sure that you have the campaign selected. And I've created a test campaign here. I actually did run it to get some real results to show you. The results might not be exactly what I want to get because it's just a test campaign, but that way we can see some real clicks and real impressions. So once the campaign is selected, I'm on the campaign tab. I can then see how many people this ad was shown to. And we see that by looking at the impressions tab. This shows you how many times the ad has been shown to people so far. It's also the same thing as the reach column, but we can just use impressions. They both have the exact same number. So we know that yesterday my ad was shown to 1,426 people, which is good. It means it was being shown. So if you log in around 10 in the morning, your ads are running, you want to make sure that you're getting impressions. Probably 100 or so is a good enough sign to show that your ad is running and being shown to people. Then the next thing you want to check later on is if people are actually interacting with your ad and clicking on it. And you do that by looking at the unique link clicks. Now, I got 12 yesterday, so that showed me that people were clicking on my ad. So if you checked your ad mid-morning, you want to make sure that maybe you have 1 or 2 clicks. If you don't see any, I would check another hour or 2 later on. And if you still don't see any or see very, very few, that's a sign that your ad is being seen but not getting people's attention. Now, the next thing we want to do is actually look at the offer on our Facebook page so that we can see how many coupons have actually been used and if there are any comments below that. Now, here's how we do that. You make sure that the campaign is selected and then go to the Ads tab here because that's where we'll see the actual ad. Now you also want to make sure that the ad is selected so that the preview button, which is what we need, is active. If it's not selected, preview's grayed out and we can't do it. So we make sure it's selected and then we click the preview button. And this is a preview of the ad that what people are seeing in their feed. So I can see here that 10 people got this offer, which is great. However, I just wanted to see this in order to find a link to the actual offer on my Facebook page. This is just a preview, but this allows us to go to the offer. And the way we do that is you click on this little bitty square box with an arrow in it up here. You click on that, and then you have the option here to see the post. We can see the Facebook post with comments. If we click on that, that's going to take us to where this ad actually exists. So here we are on my page. This is the ad that people saw. And now we can see that 10 people did get this offer. So if I had 20 coupons that I'd uploaded and it said 20 people got this offer, I would know that all the coupons are gone and I need to go back into the ad and turn it off. Now, the second thing we can see here is that whether or not people are leaving comments. No one left a comment under this, but it's not uncommon for people to make comments like, hey, great offer, I got this, or the coupon's not working for me. And what you want to do here is reply to them to help take care of any issue that they have. So speaking of the coupons, and if we run out of them, let me show you how to turn your ad off. We go back into the Ads Manager. I'm going to close this down. We're going to go to the Campaign tab. And then right here, this is the button that toggles your campaign on and off. Simply click that, and then the campaign is now turned off. So that's it. That's how you check your ad to make sure that it's performing as expected by getting impressions, getting clicks, and also how you see the actual offer on the Facebook page to tell whether or not all the coupons have been redeemed and if people are commenting and interacting with your ad. So now you should know everything that you need to do each day of your launch, and you even know how to check your Facebook ads. That means So I'll see you there in the very next lesson. Welcome to the post-launch lesson on Launch, Blitz, and Rank. And here's what we're going to be covering: winding down your launch, reviewing the performance of your launch, setting up a few final bursts of sales after the launch is over, and then planning ahead for continued sales and growth. To wind down the launch, there are a couple things you want to do the day after it's over. You want to make sure that your Facebook ads are no longer running, and you also want to turn off your Google AdWords ads. Now, we'll talk about your Amazon sponsored ads a little bit later. By the end of the launch, you should start to see increases in both your keyword ranking and your BSR. Now, be sure to continue tracking both of those for the next couple days, and preferably even longer after that. These will both start to fall back down, and that is completely normal. The goal here is to have kickstarted your product sales so that you begin getting consistent and growing sales for your product and your business. You will, however, need to continue your marketing efforts to grow your sales. We can't just stop after doing a launch, and that is going to be covered in the next module. However, getting a few final bursts of sales can definitely help lengthen the positive effects of a launch. Here's a few ways to do that. One, you can keep your large Amazon promotion, the one for 75% off, active for a few more days, and then set up another Facebook offer a few days after your launch is complete. You don't have to do all the other activities involved in a launch, just the Facebook offer to get a few targeted sales again. You can also set up another Amazon giveaway, similar to the one we learned about in a previous lesson. But this time, don't make it invite only, and go ahead and post the link to it on your Facebook page. This is a great way to gain some good social media attention from your new fans, and you'll also get the sales boost benefits of it as well. Even before we get to the more advanced marketing activities, there are some other basic things that we can do to help keep our sales going and growing. For Amazon sponsored product ads, your product now has some good traction, and I would keep those on so that you can continue getting additional sales. You can review your campaign's performance and do some basic optimization. It's not really that difficult, but that will be covered in more detail later on in the next module. Now, in social media, we actually use social media for the majority of our launch using Facebook ads. So I would be sure to go out there and share some post-launch messages thanking your new followers for a great launch and sharing any positive comments or reviews that you might have gotten from other people. When people know and see that your huge discounts that they were seeing coming across their feed were legitimate and that other people got those products that they didn't, they may start reaching out to you to see if they can participate in future launches. Here's a recap of the items that you need to take action on the day after your launch. Be sure to turn off your AdWords and Facebook ads, track and review the performance of the launch, set up a few final bursts of sales after the launch is over, keep your sponsored product ads on, and then share the results of your launch with your social media fans. Now, the next lesson is going to be the Module 6 wrap-up, where we review the entire launch, blitz, and rank. I'll see you there. Welcome to the Module 6 wrap-up. And here's what we learned: how to create your first FBA shipment, how to get your final product images taken, ways to get your initial product reviews, how to use an Amazon giveaway for both reviews and an immediate sales boost, and then finally, how to utilize the most powerful product launch method to date, the launch, blitz, and rank. Now, when you're ready, here are the action steps to take. Create your first FBA shipment to get your product live on Amazon. Finalize your product photos using a professional photography service. Get 5 to 10 product reviews using friends, family, and social media. Set up your first Amazon giveaway, and then prepare and execute your first product launch. Now, in the next module, we're going to learn all about how to scale your business using advanced marketing strategies and by creating raving fans for your brand. I'll see you there.